Bablam bablam. Welcome.
Welcome. Hello. Hi. Good afternoon. Good day. Good evening. Hi. And welcome back. My name is D. And we are Wisdom Saves. We're going to roll some dice and play some Dungeons and Dragons and try to investigate just what exactly is happening with this mystery that our players have gotten themselves into. But before we get into today's session, let's go around the table and get some introductions. I always do it from the top left, so I'm going to do it from the bottom right. Oriana.
Oh, I was not prepared. Hi, I am Maleficent. I play Oriana. She is a tiefling war cleric, and she's a grumpy bitch. I also am a grumpy bitch, and I make internet content on the internet.
So looking forward to seeing that grumpiness in game.
Mm.
Of course, the cheerful and smiling sister to ye old grumpy bitch, Eminence. Emmy.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just heard my name. My Wi-Fi is being absolutely shit today. If you can hear me at all right now, that's a good sign. If I'm ever very silent for no reason, then assume that it's because I'm not hearing what's going on, as opposed to being my usually socially awkward self. But yeah, I'm Emmy. I am a tiefling warlock, and she's a lot of fun. Thanks.
Awesome. Aery. Just terrified expression.
We did mention we're having some technical issues.
No, that wasn't a technical issue. That was not thinking I would be next, and I was sending a message. So,
Technical
Hi.
brain issue.
yeah. I am Jimmy or Cat. I am 100% genuine human person, human being. And I'm not doing a lot at the moment. But if you want to see my cats, you can look at my Twitter, I guess.
Awesome. And of course, Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I am a Path of the Ancestral Guardian barbarian. I, as Burrows person, I have a Kickstarter. You gotta check it out. You have to. It's a requirement. Done. That's my promo for today.
Awesome. I look forward to taking a look at that once we manage to get through today's game, because right now we've got some Dungeons and Dragons to get into, and it seems like it's a little bit of a spacey day for all of us. I see. On one screen I have the stream open, on the other screen I have the live webcams. I saw
Oopsie.
Burrows just make a really surprised face, and then 5 seconds
It
later, the
normally
stream-
opens the cameras as a separate window so I can open Discord in the background. It turns out I'm gonna have to go from my phone. So rip.
It's just going to be one of those loopy days, which is the best kind of day for us to get into the mystery that the party is investigating. As members of the Weft, the party has decided to investigate a number of disappearances happening at a location called the Pot, which is a natural hot springs not too far from where the party was located in Valater. Upon arriving, they noticed things were a little bit off. The people were a little bit spacey and relaxed, a little more so than you would expect from just a hot springs esque environment. They managed to meet Thrinarv Largegut, a half giant who decided to show them around the area and took them up to Thibalis Springs, took them all around the pot itself, up to Tengboche after staying in Dengboche. And also, the party decided to go over to Ridden's Dredge, the sanitarium where the disappearances had been happening. After investigating a number of clues and finding some documentation pertaining to the current residents of the sanitarium, the party decided that they would go speak with Old Maeve and Jedediah, the ostensible heads of the pot. They just departed out from Ridden's Dredge. Um, if I remember right, you arrived pretty early in the morning for this investigation, right? So after looking through all of these files, I'm going to go ahead and say it's about 2 p.m. because it's been a couple of weeks since the last session, and I don't know exactly what time of day it is. So it's 2 p.m. Uh,
We spent a lot of time going through the rooms and stuff, so like I think that's pretty reasonable for the amount of research we actually did.
yeah. All right. In that case, it's 2:15 p.m. Um, and the sun is shining. You don't hear a lot of wildlife nearby you as you step back outside of the Ridden's Dredge onto the grassy hill that leads back to the pot. Again, remembering that sort of radius of disappearing people, of disappearing life, insects, bugs, small critters here and there. But you do see signs of smoke and steam rising up from the pot proper. The large crater-like depression that houses the city of the pot. And Thrinarv is sort of whistling happily as he walks along beside you. What would you like to do, and where would you like to go?
It's a great question.
It is.
Well, I think we were heading back to we saw the vision when we scryed of the people in Tengushe. We were going to go and speak with the mayor out by the springs, question mark, I want to say. Maeve and Jebediah, I think it was.
Old Maeve and Jedediah, they are located nearby the Spore Walls.
That's it. I was like, not the springs. I'm like, there's somewhere else. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where we were roughly heading. Was to talk to them, suss out the Spore Wall, and basically waste time until tonight. When we were going to camp out at the thing, right? Does that sound correct with everyone else?
Pretty sure. Yeah, that's what we're planning.
I think there was a little bit of conversation about maybe waiting until tomorrow to get the Scry spell slot back. But if you want to try, depending on how much time you spend, you might be able to fit a long rest in today beforehand. It is a hot spring after all.
Also, discussion about how much we're actually going to achieve without just sitting in the sanitarium until midnight and seeing what happens at midnight. I don't know if we were planning to do that tonight or like the following night, but that was going to happen at some point, I think.
I don't know. I mean, there's also the idea of what benefit will we get from waiting for another day. Like, yes, we will have another spell slot, but what is ideally the actual, like, does that make sense? Like, it might be worth our time to go in there quicker in order to get it sorted faster and whatnot. You know, make sure that, like, people don't get hurt or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty much up to Ori because you're really the one that deals in spell slots more than anyone else, and whether we wanted to restat like before heading into whatever we may be heading into.
For Oriana, the only thing is like she can't cast scrying again. She only had 1 5th level spell slot. She has all of her other spell slots. So it's just if we wanted to scry again, we can't do that until after a long rest. However, that's literally the only thing holding us back.
Yeah, I feel like scrying again, no matter who we look for, we're going to find. If it's someone who's missing, we're probably going to find them doing something mundane somewhere in an area that we know they're just not around. They're not on the same plane as us.
Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
also, like, ultimately, like, anything that we find out, we can't do anything about until we're there anyway.
Exactly.
So, like, even if we did find out that someone is in mortal peril or whatever, if we've decided to stay, we know that we left them there in that. And I feel like that's worse. Because now we know. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think at this point where we want to talk to Old Maeve and Jedediah, and then we want to get back to the sanitarium by midnight to get sucked into whatever wiggy bullshit is taking people places.
There is also, like, we could, if we nah, I've changed my mind. I no longer want to suggest this plan. Sounds great.
Are these in character suggestions that we just haven't done in character voices? Because I would like to know this plan.
Ultimately, the idea is that if we're just getting teleported to another plane and we don't feel that there is a dangerous energy in the actual place where we would be teleporting to, we could theoretically just long rest over midnight. If that makes sense. Like, we get back, say, aim for getting back, like, round about that 4 o'clock mark. Maybe, like, 5, 6, something like that. Knowing that there's an extra couple of hours left of our rest. If we know that we're just going to shift straight over, we could just go back and nap. And be there while we change over. Obviously, if we wake up and, like, there's, like, 10 people around us, it's going to happen whether we're asleep or not, but waste some time resting, possibly.
Eminence is always keen for naps, so...
And technically, you can fight in a long rest. You just can't do it for more than 2 hours. So
20 minutes.
It's 2 hours.
Is it 2 hours?
It's 2 hours. Well, it's
2 hours
okay.
is like a
technically,
large-scale battle.
technically, it's light activities.
Yeah.
Sorry, I could be wrong.
Battle time is longer than most encounters.
Yeah, fighting is not considered a light activity. Fighting, I believe, resets you back down to 0 no matter how far.
Yeah, but that's silly because
Maybe Natalie considers
I feel
it a
like
activity.
we've had this conversation before, and I will have to do some individual research. But there is a possibility of that. It does not change the fact of our immediate goal. So I think we should head there, and I will do some research because I'm fairly sure it's back in our chat.
Yeah, you're right.
Took 3 steps and needs another 8 hours sleep. So.
If the rest is interrupted by a period of strenuous activity, at least 1 hour of walking, fighting, casting spells, or similar adventuring activity, characters must begin the rest again.
So technically, we could wait. We could go to sleep at 5. We have an extra hour.
If you plan on immediately entering combat for the next hour, the 8th hour.
Yeah, it's a risky play, but look, I'm willing to risk it.
Amazing.
I feel like for Natalie, that
I'm
makes sense.
quite
It's
keen on
tactical.
that idea as well, because like we get the long rest, I get that 1 spell slot left, like back, and that would be good. If we don't, nothing
We
bad
don't
is
really
going to
lose
happen.
anything because we would have just gone into it without it anyway.
Okay.
So what you're saying is, right now you have incentive to use all of your remaining spell slots.
No, because it might not work.
And also, if we do use all of our spell slots and we go into battle at midnight, we won't have replenished those spell slots until after the 8 hours is up. So we're still screwed. But yes, off to the mayor.
Old mates.
Yes. Awesome. That conversation, I imagine, takes place as you are walking back to the pot. You climb back up the crater lip up towards the upper edge of the west side. And looking down again, you can see the steam rising up from the pot proper. On the north side, people are milling about the Tengboche monastery, which is still distributing a late lunch. And you are led down towards the southern side of the crater lip, where, again, in the side of this large crater-like depression, there are many different caverns and pockets and depressions that have been turned into small homes. Aery, you would probably call them hovels. They're not exactly super comfortable, but the people inside seem to be pretty happy. Generally, curtains, blankets, sort of wooden planks across any doors. Windows are a rare occurrence. And as you are led by these, you find yourselves coming to a tunnel, probably about 12 feet tall, very large, sort of descending into the side of the crater on the southern edge of the lip, about halfway up. Inside, you can see a number of candles have already been lit in small depressions along the wall, and there are people coming and going. You see a couple of folks coming out carrying crates, lids off, and as you walk by, you recognize some of the mushrooms that were cooked and prepared at Tangboche Monastery. But entering further in, Thrinarv leads you down this sort of winding tunnel. You descend about 30, 40, 50 feet down this tunnel until you look back and you can no longer see the sunlight behind you. It is just the candles in the wall and whatever torchlight people have with them. And up ahead, you begin to see sort of like this blue-green glow echoing out across the floor. I gotta close this Discord chat if y'all are gonna meme.
I was only gonna do the one.
Yeah. You see this blue-green glow start to emanate across this tunnel, and there is a bit of moisture across the top of the ceiling, but it is dry. It is not clammy or uncomfortable. And as you continue to descend now 70, 80 feet, 90 feet further down this winding tunnel that just seems to descend deeper and deeper into the earth, the glow becomes brighter and brighter until suddenly you turn a corner and in front of you, you see a cavern. Large, rising up about 25 feet tall up to the ceiling, this sort of bulbous, oddly shaped cavern. And all across the walls are these writhing blue and green, almost rippling with electric energy mushrooms, spores, each about the size of an elbow to a forearm, just waving gently like ripples in water. And as you see this, as you enter into this room, you can see a couple of people are harvesting some spores off of the wall. You see a ripple of electric energy as they briefly light up and it radiates outward, almost like some striatic effect glowing across the cavern that sort of echoes all the way around before it finally dissipates once again and it returns back to this natural blue and green glow. These are the Spore Walls, and Thrinarv, he again seems totally nonplussed by the situation. He just, yeah, and these are the Spore Walls. Mushrooms on the walls. The naming is kind of self-explanatory for this one. From what I remember, the mushrooms are fed by that, and he kind of points over, and in the center of the room, you can see a cluster of small vents, almost like these tunnels, maybe about the size of a manhole cover. And as you're watching, there's suddenly just this jet of air that escalates into the chamber. And once again, immediately, there's this electric ripple that kind of radiates out through the spores around the chamber. Yeah, those are some kind of tunnels that lead down to some hot spring vent, and the air is nutritious or something. I don't really remember too much of the details. But apparently this is just kind of a good place for them to grow. But over there, and he kind of points over to the side of the chamber where you can see an opening has been hollowed out into a smaller, sort of almost like a personal room on the side of this cavern. Again, the mushrooms sort of cover the wall like the inside of this giant beast's stomach. but you see that there is soil and a small garden. People coming and going are kind of just ignoring this side area where there are a number of these candles lit up, creating almost like this solemn area. Flowers of different varieties and shapes are growing in these great big beautiful blooms. As you can see, the colors kind of echoing that blue and green of the chamber. And in the center of that small area, you see a halfling. Looks male, middle age, hair kind of tied back, sort of basic clothing that is currently tending to some of the flowers. Bernarf kind of motions that. That there's Kinsey. Kinsey. When Maeve and Jedediah don't have the ability to listen, Kinsey kind of takes messages for them and acts as acting mayor, basically. If you've got any questions, Kinsey would be the person.
How often are Maeve and Jedediah not able to be the mayor? Mrs.?
Oh, it comes and goes. It's kind of seasonal. It's, the usual.
We've heard that before recently.
Oh, yeah? Where at?
I wasn't talking to you.
Okay. So that means my question is not valid?
Well, I'm not going to answer it. So, yeah?
Okay. Hey, Natalie. I hear you've heard that before. Where at?
It's secret, don't ask!
It's just that it is not usual for the mayor to not be a mayor sometimes.
I didn't realize it was a secret. I thought you were just being sassy.
I mean, yeah, but it's also a secret.
Okay, yeah. No, that's understandable. Okay, yeah.
Also, Natalie, I don't imagine would have picked up on the subtle joke either. So, like, she's just like, I don't know.
Well, cool. Okay, if you're just gonna stand here, I can introduce you.
I suppose. Not too sure what he would know about. But I had to ask, right?
I mean, you said you had questions, right?
Not so much that we have questions, it's just, we just really need to think of an angle to approach this, Like, there have been people that have been disappearing from this place for, what, a month? Or who have disappeared for a month. And no one's really seemed eager to fix that. Do we go in going, tell us what you know? Or do we go in going, hey, we're here to help? How is this going to work? Like, anything we can do to assist you kind of deal. Question for the grander party.
I thought you were talking to what's his face, and I was like,
How would
I
he
don't know what
know?
input he's going to have with this.
Yeah.
We're in a group. It's not like I just like pulled him aside and I'm like, this is what we need to sort out.
I mean, to be fair, I literally did just exclude him from the one thing that I've said in this conversation so far. I was like, no, I'm not talking to you.
I mean, if you need a little bit of time, I can go.
It's not so much that. It's just we're trying to work out what the best approach is. That's really a hard thing to do.
I do think that the best approach is probably not immediately.
It's like
we are
this,
trying to help. I
Oriana.
know, but I'm holding a tissue.
Not.
Holding stuff in my hands. I figured we'd kind
You
of
go like that with the
understand
tissue
Clap.
hand?
I did. I thought the message would still translate.
Apparently not.
Natalie, please. Because we are trying to help. Although we will continue to help regardless of whether they want it. So it's probably
Yeah.
best to just go in and say hi.
I'm not so good at the chatty stuff. But sure.
Would you like to go in and punch the mayor?
I don't want to go in and punch anyone. It's just, I understand punching. I don't know how to do the other thing.
So we agreed, and we're not going to punch the mayor.
We have agreed we're not going to punch the man, but maybe you could talk. Or Eminence, or
suppose.
Aery. Maybe not Aery.
I am happy to talk, but I do like the idea of a backup plan of punching the mayor.
I can just flex some muscles, intimidate a little if required, you know?
But if it comes down to it, we need to know that you're prepared to punch this person.
If they do something bad, I'm willing to punch anyone.
Okay.
There or not. Because you're in power doesn't mean you have a reason to do shitty things.
Keep that in mind. Are we able to speak to the actual... I don't know which... We've been saying their names at the same time. Do Maeve and Jedediah, like, share mayoral duties? One of them is the mayor and one of them is the partner? Or they're both the mayor?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah. That's like an out-of-character question because I assume that Oriana would have picked up on this rather than just me forgetting.
I don't think it was made explicitly clear.
In which case, that would be an actual question. Are they both the mayor?
I mean, they kind of run things. Both of them.
And are they like an elected mayor, or they're just in charge?
No, they're at the bottom of everything.
Right.
And are they currently indisposed? Do we have to speak to... I've lost my notes already. Kinsey? Or can we speak to the other mayors?
I mean, I don't see him.
Also, I think as Thronavd explained, like, this guy essentially is the... Yeah, it has a lot of weight as well.
Well, I mean, he is a halfling.
Didn't mean literally.
Oh, yeah, like clout.
Yeah, sure. Or like power. Yeah. Not really sure. If he can stand in as an acting mayor, they obviously trust
Kinsey,
him enough to rely on him.
Kinsey is He-Man confirmed.
But is Kinsey current acting mayor?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I guess we talk to them then.
Do you only want to talk to the people at the top?
Presumably, they would know the most.
Just figured we could go speak to everyone. But okay.
Everybody would be exhausting.
Have a little bit of time.
In which case, you can lead this conversation.
I said no. I said I wasn't going to.
You also said that you wanted to talk to
muscle.
everyone, so you can take this one. I'll take the next.
Just keep taking turns.
Sure, it's fine. Let's speak with Kinsey then. Kinsey. Let me get my G in there.
So you walk over?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Don't really know how else to do it, I guess.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, you walk over. You can see Kinsey is currently what looks like on his knees, and he has a small set of gardening tools and appears to be pruning some of the roots of what looks like a large orchid that is kind of flowering out, and it is reasonably large. It's about this big on the flower of the orchid. And it has these two sort of large frills that kind of curl back up, almost like primitive tusks. Um, and as you approach, Kinsey just looks up at you and takes note of your presence and continues to work on the flower.
Hey, Kinsey. I don't believe we've met. I'm Natalie. You here? To the
Hello?
pot? Hello.
Hello, Natalie. Welcome to the pot.
Thank you. So the pot, right?
It sounds like there's something that you want to talk about, but don't feel very comfortable talking about.
I mean, yeah, sure. I'm just gonna come right out with it. We've heard that there have been some things happening around here. People disappearing randomly round about that Ridden's dredge
Yes,
business.
quite tragic. Ridden's Dredge has been a beacon of light for this community for many years.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, we've heard about all the good things they're doing out there. Well, we're here to help. Just want to know if you know anything that might be useful for us. Maybe?
At this point, Kinsey kind of sets down the gardening tools and looks at you and really kind of looks at you. And you can see Kinsey has just this very like loose, relaxed air about them. And it's almost like when Kinsey looks at you and makes eye contact, his eyes take just a little bit longer to focus on your face. Um, yes, well, if there's any specific questions you might have, I could share some insight. I put Perenelle Serpentwind on the investigation a short while ago, but he seems to have disappeared as well.
Yeah. You haven't sent anyone since?
Well, it didn't seem prudent when the first had disappeared.
I mean, over a dozen people disappearing in the middle of the night seems like a pretty important thing to do, look into.
It is.
Can I roll an
And-
insight check on him currently?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let me roll it in my fancy D20, D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I would like to not
Rage.
have dice anymore.
Um, yeah. He kind of continues. Yes, we sent some of our people, Perenelle, to investigate, and over time, more people have come to investigate, and now a group of 4 very impressive adventurers have arrived. Seems as though patience might be paying off if you were able to come to a resolution.
Are you also under the impression that everybody who's disappeared will just come back?
I certainly think it's possible, though I do understand that sometimes people pass on, and there's a time and a place to await their return, and a time and a place to let them go.
So that's what you'll tell their families and such? The families of the people who have disappeared?
Oh no, we will investigate to the utmost of our capacity when available, and eventually the families will mourn and they will move on. It's the way of things around here.
I must admit I'm not overly familiar with the way of things around Pot, but usually you don't mourn someone that you don't already know is dead or gone. It seems like you've already put them in the ground without really.
I would say that keeping hope for an extended period of time can be just as dangerous. However, again, I am willing to assist you with your investigation. Goodbye.
Welcome back.
I'm willing to assist you with your investigation by whatever means possible. However, you still haven't asked any specific questions or for resources.
Then, as far as questions, what do you think's happened?
I don't know. People have disappeared. According to Paranel's investigation before he disappeared, there were no footprints away. There were no footprints going in. If I had to guess, something magical.
You wouldn't happen to have access to their notes that we could look at? Their investigation?
I believe Paranel kept his notebook on him.
Well, that's certainly unfortunate.
Though, from what he did inform me, it seemed as though Ridden's Dredge was just.
We're having some real issues today.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Right about to get to a piece of a clue.
Hey, look, it's fine. If anyone is still wait, hang on. Where's my face? Hi. If cameras freak out, that's fine. We continue because the audio will still be crisp. So that's the important thing here.
According to what Paranel had told me during his initial. I'm just gonna keep going now.
Yep, go for it.
I'm just gonna keep going. If you miss something, get it from one of the other players. Oh my god, I love it. It's so good.
We can just start typing our notes in the Discord chat just so that everyone's up to date.
It was as if everyone had gone to sleep, and when the sun had risen, there was no one there anymore. Yeah, what? A cat wants.
A stray cat comes up behind Kingsley.
His attention.
We all have our attention drawn to cat.
No signs of forced entry or altercations. Everything as it should be to start a new day, but no people.
Were there this may actually be something that we already know and I've just forgotten. Were they employees? There was the doctor. Did they have like a chef?
I don't
Did
think
they
they
have
had,
like
like,
attending
stay-in
nurses?
employees, as far as I'm
Yeah,
aware.
is that we've been unplugged?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. I said, did we know if there were any other employees? We had the doctor who is also gone. Were there like chefs, assisting
There were
nurses? Are they disappeared or do they not stay overnight? So they're just were the people that discovered everyone missing. I have the hiccups. Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's a
Oh,
real
me too.
very, very smooth stream today.
yeah, tough
I feel like there was a
situation.
doctor that went missing, right? Like
Yeah,
the
there
one
was
who was the
a
main
doctor.
doctor. But
Yes.
other than that, yeah.
There were 2 attendants who stayed at Ridden's Dredge with the patients. First off was Quincy, the doctor to whom you're referring. In addition, there was Valmbjör. He was the attendant to Ridden's Dredge before Quincy arrived in town about a year ago.
And he's also missing?
Yes, the 2 of them are missing.
Why was he replaced?
Who?
Vembjör.
Valmbjör? He wasn't. The 2 of them worked together. You cannot eat my dice.
Don't tell me what to do.
Oh my god, you are a menace. The 2 of them worked together to attend the patients of Ridden's Dredge.
You mentioned resources. What do you think we'll need?
I don't know. If the situation is, as I am guessing, magical, it could be anything. I know very little of magic myself. I am to understand that. My notes are a mess now. Holy cow. I know magic can have a tendency to use strange and obscure items and reagents.
I don't know if I need any lines. Really. I mean, I don't know. This is also coming from the one person who casts magic. So I don't need anything.
Like, yeah, we're good. Nah, it's fine. Off you.
Yeah.
Am I
There's
allowed
a
to ask? Hmm? Okay, I'll go. Am I allowed to ask what has made Maeve and is it Jebba or Jedediah?
Jedediah.
Jebba. I said it wrong.
Sometimes just Jed. Old Maven Jed.
Jed. Hi Lily. What has made Maeve and Jedediah currently Jebediah? Fuck. Indisposed for you to take over right now.
Oh, yes. Death.
Pardon?
Uh-huh. And I
Maeve-
was told that this is temporary. Are you expecting them to stop being dead?
Summer should be about 4 or 5 months before they come back.
They die seasonally?
Well, of course. And at that point, Kinsey stands up and motions over. Cat, you see at the center of the garden, there is a small depression And at the base of that depression, almost looking like a small grave, you can see two small vines that appear to be just slowly growing up.
No offense, but what the fuck?
Possibly maximum offense. But
Maeve and Jedediah were the first to found the town here at the pot, many hundreds of years ago. They have been dead a very long time. However, we do celebrate their guidance and leadership in spirit. It's also a fun joke to play on foreigners.
Uh-huh.
hilarious.
I don't get it.
Me neither.
Next time new tourists come into town and they ask to see the mayor, tell them you'll bring them to see Maeve and Jedediah. Maeve and Jedediah have been listening to this whole conversation.
Yeah, but the plants is what you're trying to say?
Yes.
So they're not like living plants, they're not like dryads or something, they're just like actual plants?
Oh no, the people whom Maeve and Jedediah were have died.
And so you're
They're-
saying that the plants are listening to our conversation?
Yes, Maeve and Jedediah have listened to your conversation. I'm sure they also wish for you to speedily recover the people who are missing.
This place is so fucking weird. I don't know what to... Maybe we should just leave them.
Maeve and Jedediah? I mean, they're not going anywhere.
No, I mean all your missing people that you don't care about.
Well, we do care. We would miss it quite greatly. If you could assist, we would be very happy, but
But if we don't, it's like not that big a deal if you just be sad about it for a bit and then forget about them.
we would probably send out another request for assistance.
Probably.
Where did you send out the request for assistance the first time?
We gave notations to some of our tourists to take back to whatever locations that they were going to. See if
You
they could spread the
trusted
word.
tourists to deliver important information?
Seems to have worked quite well.
Sure. All right. Thank you for your help. We'll get back to doing what we're doing.
If you have any more questions or need anything, feel free to ask.
I am sure we are well equipped. And I'm gonna head off.
Yeah, this has broken my brain a little bit, and I think it probably would have broken Oriana's brain a little bit. So she would like once that like, oh, pleasantry's over, she's just gonna turn around and like walk out and just like okay.
Yeah. Aery just like shrugs and does the same. What is going on? This place is
This
so
is
bizarre.
fucked. Blase
I have
attitude
been-
towards the people. There's probably
I have been to some weird places in my life, but I have never been anywhere where the mayor is a plant who died many years ago.
Never thought that I would have an opportunity to say this, but it feels like there was almost a warmer reception in than what he seemed to have for the people that disappeared from his own town.
I think that would be fair to say.
That is
Hell
ridiculous.
isn't that bad all the time.
That's exactly the point.
I'm just saying you may not have found that to be a particularly warm welcome and like that this one was bizarre, but also it's not that bad
So
all the
then
time.
the fact that it's warmer than hell.
Yeah, like a bad welcome in hell is worse than, I guess, a pretty normal welcome here. He said he does that all the time to people, so.
Uh,
I mean, sure, like, you know, celebrate your town's history and stuff, but like sending off messages with tourists, like, just plainly irresponsible. Also, only sending like 1 or 2 people off. If there were like over a dozen people missing in a town, I would expect that more was being done about it.
and some of them have been tourists. This seems to be a tourist town. You wouldn't want them to. You'd think that we were trying to fix this to not ruin their livelihood.
Also, you know, just not letting people disappear in the middle of the night. Like, you know, someone disappears in a forest and they usually send out a search party. They don't just go, well, guess they're dead. Like,
I suppose.
Yes. Plus, people have been disappearing from the same location for time. It seems that they would just board it up or something if they knew that that one spot was the problem.
board it up.
Put up a
uh,
sign.
Put
Post a
up a
guard.
sign.
Literally
Find someone with
anything.
any kind of like magical knowledge. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's meant to be us, but fuck, what do we know about like disappearing houses? The people looking at Thrinov. The reason that we're here, like, we're not magical experts. We're also not an officially sanctioned thing. Like, there should be more of an interest in this than just like, let's get some random adventurers to help. I'm definitely assuming that we are having this conversation when we're like walking away, by the way.
Yes,
We're not just like
yeah.
having this conversation directly in front of Kingsley. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No, we're
Do you grab
definitely on our way out.
Threnarv?
oh yeah, I assumed he's just coming with us. Like, I'm
Yeah.
guessing probably we would be dropping him off at the, or like, you know, like walking back through town to get to where it is, but leaving him on the way.
No, but speaking of, has Threnov reacted in any way to us freaking out about how blasé everyone in this town is being?
So I thought he wasn't a part of this conversation
Yeah,
because
okay.
you guys were kind of talking shit.
Oh no, I like
had
figured that
kind
he's
of-
just here for it, but
Okay.
Yeah, I'd kind of assumed that he wouldn't be caring that much because, you know, he doesn't seem to care about very many things.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I'm curious
not
about. Is he just
deeply.
like wandering around with a smile on his face, like as we
So-
talk shit about this?
While you were speaking with Kinsey, he was kind of just playing with the just like playing with the spores on the wall, basically. Just having a jolly old time. And as you have departed and made your way back out, I imagine you had a little bit of the conversation before he came and caught up with the rest of you. And oh, hey, I hear you're talking a little bit about people just being a bit more, I don't know, relaxed here. And yeah, you know, it is kind of weird, but it's also kind of the charm of the place, you know? It's kind of why it's a destination, a
If
hotspot.
I were
Though,
to disappear, I wouldn't consider it charming if nobody gave a shit.
oh no, yeah, that's a problem. I think the guard idea, that's a good one. I'm gonna talk to Kinsey about that.
I think this is the first time that you have taken this seriously.
Uh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, mostly true. You seemed to take it somewhat seriously when we were in the sanitarium. But then as soon as we left, you didn't again.
Yeah, you know, I mean, the pot is just a relaxing place, you know.
This is more than just chill holiday vibes. This
I
is
don't
like
know.
something.
If
You
your
think it's a
Something is
parents,
problem?
if
happening.
your like siblings, if your friends go missing, do you really want someone to just be like, life happens?
I mean, you try to figure it out, don't you? And that's what
Yes.
other smarter people than me were doing it, at least as far as I can remember.
And they
You're
were
smart
disappearing.
enough to try, Threnav. You're smart. We could use your help.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a woodcutter, but
But you have a lot of local knowledge. You've been here for many years. You know the people, you know the area. You have invaluable knowledge. It's not all about what you learn in books.
I never really thought of it that way.
Also, let's be honest, firewood is especially handy when you are going camping.
It is, my God, it has been so cold on the road.
Well, yeah. You've got a big axe. Do you need to? I can teach you how to
I
chop
don't know how to
firewood better, but it
lop a
looks like
tree properly or anything like that. The point being that just because you don't have book smarts or magic smarts doesn't mean that you can't know things or do things.
yeah. I mean, Randall's pretty good at taking care of Dangboche, and I don't think he knows what a book is.
Pretty weighty.
Oriana's been like sitting back a little with this compliment, the very not very smart man. But at that, she's going to kind of just like laugh snort and try and try and like play it off as like, oh, that was nothing. But I don't think he's ever like, I don't think he even knows what a book is. It's just so fucking funny.
Now you've got me all fired up. Now I want to help. What should I do?
Come with us. They can help.
Wow,
will be
that's a
dangerous.
big ask. That's a
Sure
real
would
big
be.
ask.
You are very
That's
strong.
yeah, yeah. Can I think about it?
Got
Yeah,
gonna look at my
what time is it?
imaginary
You've got
clock.
like 45 minutes.
You've got
Yeah.
like yeah,
There
about
is
45 minutes. You've got till the
zero
walk back to
shame.
the written stretch.
Make a persuasion check, and I'll give you advantage. That was a good.
I would hope so.
conversation.
After Eminence nailing it, I should have let her make the last word. Oh wait, I could roll it in the thingy now. Oh, but I don't. Do I trust it?
I can roll a persuasion check.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Oh, Nat 20.
Oh
Nice.
god,
Oh.
we're definitely getting this man killed.
I know.
Hey, look, if he chooses to go of his own volition with a little bit of coaxing from us, it is fine.
All your friends are jumping off a bridge.
We're not telling him to jump off a bridge. We're just telling him to, like, tie a rope around himself and just not fall.
Yeah, tie a rope around yourself and then jump off. a
Yeah,
bridge.
exactly.
You're just not saying where you tie the rope around yourself.
Well,
You
we are
tie the
saying
rope around
where.
yourself and hopefully find somewhere to tie the other end of the rope to, because we're not going to hold it for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just tie the rope around and then hope for the best.
Amazing. Yeah. Let me think about it. I think I'm gonna get some lunch from Tangboche Monastery, but once I've got that all squared away, yeah.
Ask them to make you the Eggs Benedict. It was rather nice.
Okay. Yeah. I could do that.
If you change, if you want to come, we will be at Ridden's Dredge. waiting it out till midnight.
All right. Yeah. At this point, you've like made it clear of the tunnel. Guess who's back for round 2? He brought a toy. You've made it out of the tunnel. You're back at the crater itself, and you walk around the edge of the crater until you eventually ways. Can y'all hear that squeaking?
I heard like a bell, but I thought I was going
Okay.
mad.
If you do hear something squeaking, it is because it is a mouse that is activated by motion, and it squeaks like a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, hi.
yes. You kind of part ways, and you're heading back to Ridden's Dredge now? Question mark.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna go nap.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you split up with Thrinarv, who heads over to Tengboche to get some lunch. And you head back over to Ridden's Dredge. I would say by the time you get back over, it's around 3, maybe 3:30 in the afternoon. The sun is starting to get a little bit towards the middle of the sky. Still these sort of blue skies overhead with these faint wisps of cloud. You can see it is a little bit more cloudy directly above the pot, but nearby you can see the clear blue skies stretching off into the distance. And you make your way back over to the large cavern that again is facing the east. So approaching from the direction that you are, it is just this large gaping black hole into the earth. And as you arrive, you find it exactly how you left it. Pitch black, dark, abandoned, dusty, quiet.
I'm just gonna fake yawn because, like, not really that tired, and just be like, "So sleeping, right? Sounds like a plan."
This is a terrible idea.
It's a great idea. Best I've had yet.
And it's terrible.
Why is it terrible? We get to get some rest.
Not the resting, the hoping that we get abducted to another realm.
You haven't ever
That's-
dreamed of being abducted by strangers?
I have been abducted by strangers. It's not a dream.
Yes, it's
What?
actually rather traumatic.
I mean, like, mystical ones, not like real ones.
Like in those romance books that Bryn bought.
That I haven't read yet. Is there abductions in there?
It looked like a couple of them had that theme. It's like, have to chuck my dog in.
Yes, there was one called Ice Giants Barbarians, I believe. It was excellent.
Yeah, it was
Need
right along
a-
with 50 Shades of Fae.
Hey.
I just more mean it's kind of exciting to do something different. You know? Do something good. Know that you're helping on people on the other side, but also knowing that, you know, something new to look at. And
I'm not saying that we're not going to do it. I'm just saying this is a terrible idea. Objectively. Going to
think
sleep somewhere haunted.
objectively,
I do have an idea for a backup plan. Just if everything goes terribly. If I call silence on my humming disk before midnight, I could at least let him know what's going on, and then if we don't come back in a certain amount of time, he'll get worried and potentially send some help.
sounds
Or
like a
you
good
could-
plan.
I keep wanting to say phone. You could keep him connected through midnight, and if we disappear, presumably he'll know immediately that we are gone.
Well, yes, but the intention is to be gone, right? So I wouldn't want to. Well, I mean, he can worry about me, that's fine. But I mean, he doesn't necessarily need to send like an entire guard out the moment we disappear if the intention is to disappear.
I don't think he'd have the jurisdiction out here to do that anyway.
I don't think that you understand how high up my boyfriend is in local government.
Well, realistically,
I don't think you understand how local government works. You can't just send
I do
invading
not,
forces
but that's
into
not
another
the point.
town.
uh,
Is that
realistically
not how
though,
local government works? Just constant warfare?
seeing a assumed threat and being like, yes, let's deal with it. We theoretically we give ourselves 2 days. If he hasn't heard from you in 2 days, he sends some help. That seems like a good idea, right?
I can tell him if he hasn't heard from me in 2 days, then he should be concerned. And he will be, because he usually hears me every night, so.
Well, yeah, guess he'll just miss 1 or 2, and on that 3rd day, if he hasn't heard anything, he can start worrying. Hopefully, do something about it.
He would.
Maybe he'll ask some tourists to go look for us.
Yeah. Also, just wondering, our little contingency plan on if everything is absolutely fucked, we can call and take a sideswipe to hell's still a thing, right?
I mean, the amount of control we have over that is somewhat like, yes?
But I guess if we have to choose
Sure.
between possibly like monster-infested waters and hell,
And
probably
it's
hell's
more
going to be a
like
better
hell.
option.
He may decide just not to answer.
Right.
Yeah.
Fine.
I mean, I think he'd answer if we were like dying.
Presumably. But we do have no guarantees on that.
One way to find out.
So yeah, that's plan C or D even, maybe.
Or F. Or G.
D,
Or
D
Z.
for dad.
Plan D for
Plan
dad.
D for daddy.
Oh, God.
Yep, plan D. Plan daddy.
So, who wants to watch first? Yes. May as well keep a watch, right? Don't imagine anything super exciting's gonna happen, but probably should keep an eye out.
Do we want to? Ooh, God, what's my voice doing? Do we want to go like 2 by 2? That way, someone is awake with Eminence when she's making her phone call at midnight.
Well,
I mean, you don't have to be. Like, I'll be talking silence, so, like, he'll be awake.
And entirely useless from long distance. I meant more, you will be talking to silence. You'll be slightly distracted.
I'm
Are you certain
capable
you'd
of doing
notice a
more than
shift?
one thing at once. I think I would notice if I shifted to another plane of dimension. But I see your point.
Pez?
Fine.
how are we gonna get 2 shifts out of a 3-shift watch? I think probably the first and last are probably gonna have to split. Well, no, the first 2 if you're going to go at midnight.
Don't worry
I
about
think-
the math. You guys are there by before 4, so you'll be able to figure it out.
I
We're there
technically
before
only
4,
have
yay.
to sleep for like 4 hours, so I could pay attention, I suppose.
That's the plan then. Aery takes 2 shifts.
I guess.
It's more like, yeah.
The things I do for you people. like a kid or something.
I guess I'll go first then, and Aery will just overlap, I suppose. Go to sleep, you two.
It's definitely not like sleep time, but I will attempt to go
Yeah.
to sleep at what 5 o'clock in the
We'll
afternoon.
give you like
Yeah.
the
we'll
extra
just
part of the
roll out
bedroll
of
so you can like
bedrolls.
pull it over your head so that it's not as much light.
It's like trying to sleep on a plane. You just like, ugh, I guess I should.
Yeah.
And then you put on a shitty movie, like National Treasure.
Hey,
An
that movie is
excellent movie.
That
America's
movie is a
movie.
national treasure.
I have seen that movie so many times because I saw it once when it came out, and then that is the go-to for history teachers in the United States whenever they don't want to teach. Is they just roll out the TV with the VCR and they put on National Treasure and they're like, "This is American history related. Watch this."
It is American history.
Yeah.
Extremely accurate
Oriana and
American
I
history.
watch a movie with National Treasure Nicolas Cage.
I love it. Awesome. So you take your long rest and nothing happens. There is no need to roll perception because the rest passes without incident. The sun eventually sets off in the distance from the foyer where I imagine y'all are currently located. Kind of the sitting area. You've got the couches, the chairs, the large open table. You can see out of the opening of Ridden's Dredge, and you see the sky slowly darken before changing through its radiant hue of colors before it finally deepens and fades away into black, leaving you all alone in the dark. Natalie, I think you're the only one who doesn't have dark vision.
I have dark vision. I
Do you?
beg
Whole
your
party has dark
pardon.
Yeah, we all have dark vision.
Orcs do have dark
did our
vision.
boy
Dark
show up?
vision, yeah. At 10:30 at night, Trinarv arrives, and you see that he has what looks like a small hand axe. And he says, I don't really know what to expect, but I want to help. And I left my axe back at home, so I was able to borrow this one. And to his massive size, it looks like the equivalent of like a paper cutter, like a letter opener. But it'll have to do.
Comparatively, my hand axes would be pretty alright, wouldn't they?
Your hand axes, you're there. It's about the size of a hand axe.
But I have 2 hand axes. So like,
Yes.
so I'm just wondering, like, comparatively to that weapon, if I were to offer him 2 of them, would that be better? Or would it be like, if I give him one, he has like 2 roughly equivalent things?
If you give him one, it would be roughly equivalent. It's
Okay,
the equivalent
sure.
of a hand axe.
Yeah. All right, then I will hand him one and unequip one of them, even though I don't use them anyway.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
the gesture's there anyway.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, hand it
Well,
over
thank you
handle
very much.
first.
Yeah.
May as well use 2.
This is well maintained. Thank you.
All right. Gonna come with us? May as well have some good weapons.
Yeah. Do you expect to fight?
Probably at some point. Hopefully you won't need to, though.
Always good to be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. You can see he sits down and from a pouch pulls out like a small pouch of like rations with some dried jerky and some spices and a little tinderbox and just a basic like camping kit. It is pretty straightforward, but you get the sense that Thrinarv is largely accustomed to finding what he needs while out and about, rather than the kind of person who just carries it with him.
Can relate.
Yeah. So I guess we wait.
We wait.
And wait you do. With the sun setting down, with the sun fully set, it is dark on the inside of the cavern. Eventually 10:30 turns into 11. 11 drags its feet to 11:30. 11:30 becomes 11:45. Is there anything anyone wants to do as you start getting closer and closer towards the expected time?
Were you going to wake me up to make a phone call then, or have I made my phone call already?
We've officially, I think, ended the long rest. So, because if
Yeah,
we started at 4, wait, no,
You've
we
got
started
done a
before
long
4.
rest.
We will have rested. So it's up to you.
Cool. At some point, I'm assuming right before midnight, Eminence just gets up and she's like, "Hey, babe. Don't worry if you don't hear from us, but also we may be traveling to another dimension or plane of existence. I'm not exactly sure, but like if you don't hear from me in a few days, could you maybe send out a search party to the pot? I don't want you to worry. I know you're really busy and you've got really important job to do, but like if you don't hear from me, it's not because I'm ignoring you, so don't worry. It's just because like I might be dead anyway. Love you. Bye."
Yeah, your humming just kind of buzzes back. Yeah, uh, you you called me babe.
Also said, love you.
And he focuses on the babe.
Yeah, I can do that. Um, so do you not have time to talk, or
I'm a little busy right now, but like I appreciate that you want like how much you want to talk, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
okay,
Okay, love you.
okay, but love, bye.
Mm-mm.
It's by my reckoning, it's been what 2.5 weeks for this
Yeah.
relationship.
No. And most of that has been long distance.
Yep. Um. Yeah. So 11:45 becomes 11:50. 11:55. There isn't a clock on the wall or any sort of signifier, but you know it's getting close to the expected time. You can feel your own heart rate start to increase a little bit as you prepare for midnight, whatever is going to happen. Whether shadows appear from the dark to spirit you away, um, people coming in through the entrance, or perhaps even coming in from the darkness of the caverns, the black hallways behind you beckoning off into the deep, or maybe some sort of magical effect, some sort of shimmering in the air, something, anything. But it is quiet. There is nothing but the sound of your own breathing and your heartbeat pounding in your chest.
Anticlimactic.
I mean, are we? Could it have happened?
Maybe let's wait. Maybe they don't work on the same time zone.
But I mean, how would we even know if it had happened?
We should go look outside or something. Maybe it's all different out there.
Good plan. Should be a window somewhere, right?
Suddenly you feel yourself falling. A sensation of standing still, but immense, incredible movement. This is not quite what you were expecting. Your feet are solid on the ground beneath you, but there is just a rushing, whirring sensation, like waking up in the passenger seat of a car that's going 100 miles an hour. You take a moment to reorient just what exactly is happening, where you are, what's going on. And for the briefest flight of a moment, you feel the sensation of being observed. And then your feet land back. Not that they ever left the ground, but you feel the ground solidify beneath you. No longer that falling sensation. The hairs on your arms all standing up at different angles as you can feel these strange electric tingles running down the back of your spine. And there was light and voices and a flurry of activity. As the four of you look around, five including Thrinarv, there are easily 24 people around you in this area. You see humans, elves, halflings. You see a dragonborn. You see a large orc currently sitting in a small recliner in the side of the room. And suddenly, someone rushes over and, you are the new ones. You have to find it, or else it will loop and loop and loop and loop and loop. And almost immediately, another hand grabs this individual as you recognize Aery just in front of you. Another individual grabs the Aery on the arm and kind of pulls him away. And I am so sorry. Looks up, you see a large scar rising along the cheek. Aery, you know about these episodes, and looks at the four of you. I'm sorry I don't know you, but Aery is a bit troublesome sometimes. I'm sorry if that caused any trouble. And kind of glances over. You can see this large orc sitting in the recliner is just staring daggers into the back of Aery. And you see what looks like a dwarf currently kind of like patting the massive muscular knee of this orc. In the recliner next to it, you see an old human woman, sort of white hair, kind of braided back. She currently has what looks like a small wooden puzzle in her hands. And in just all of the flurry of activity that's going on, people are talking and trying to reorient themselves. In this cramped room, 24 people can barely fit. So almost as quickly as the flurry of activity happens, people begin to head out, some heading deeper into the Ridden's Dredge, and some heading further out past the mouth of the cavern where you see daylight. It's late afternoon. Blue sky overhead, and you can hear birds.
So we know our sleeping schedule won't be messed up. Well, shall we be off?
This is unexpected.
For sure.
Wait, that's Baldo. And there's Hadrian. You can see Thrinarv looking around, just starts rattling off this list of names. That's Auk and Vald, and Area. I don't know them, but yeah, there's Paranel. Harrod. Gosh, well, looks like we found our people. Huh.
What are we supposed to be finding to stop the looping?
Right now?
They told us you have to find it or it will loop and loop and loop and loop and loop.
They're looping. I suppose that would maybe explain the gesture towards the daylight that's filtering in.
Always speak with Aery and see if elaborate.
I believe we should find Quinn, the doctor, or the sheriff who went missing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's Paranel. They're heading just outside right now. Quinn just took Aery back inside. That was the guy with the scar on his cheek. Aery if you could make a history check for me, please.
9?
9. Something about Quinn is distinctly familiar to you. Like
Because I had a
really
D&D
familiar.
character called Quinn.
Wait, did you really?
Yeah.
No, yeah, there's something about Quinn that's like you can't put your finger on it, but you know you've seen Quinn before.
Hmm. What was the description of Quinn?
Scar along the side of the cheek. Quinn Woodleaf is a half elf. Character notes. Sorry, scar on the forehead. Yeah, kind of short brown hair, green eyes.
What sort of clothes are they wearing?
His clothes are a little bit older, but they are well fitted, like sharp.
Hmm.
Kind of like a jacket with the tail just a little bit too long, but it is fitted really, really well around the waist, and you can see that it is like the perfect length. Like very clearly, this jacket was tailored.
This might be like kind of a difficult question for you to answer. But Aery has been following fashion for a long time. Would he be able to tell like what era this was from? Like the cut of the jacket, like the style and stuff?
Absolutely. I will let you do a history check with advantage, or what do you think that would be? That would be like
Yeah, I think history makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, history check with advantage. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I rolled a 7 and an 8. This is a 12.
12. Yeah, even with the 12, you recognize that cut. That's a
Aery, you roll nature.
Oh, those are nature.
Oh.
Those are
Nature. Wait, what's history? Oh, yeah, I did.
It's the
definitely.
same. It's still
It's the
+4.
same modifier.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. You recognize that cut. That cut was incredibly popular in Andapolis 2.5 years ago. It was just this very like blazer jackets were very modern fit to the point of almost becoming like unnecessarily shortened. So as a turn of style, they came out with sort of these long tails, but still the very modern cut on top, open across the chest sort of thing. And you recognize this. This is like 2.5 years ago, Andapolis. Um, this is was the turn of the style for probably about 3, 4, 5 months before styles shifted again.
Sorry, which city is Andapolis? I'm very bad with names.
That is the one that is to the north. That is the city that you and Emmy went to on your
Cool.
Gap year.
during your time skip.
Right.
You also probably spent time there beforehand. It's like the metro. It's the Waterdeep, basically. It's the big city.
Okay. And so are they like with us or just nearby that I spotted them?
They took Ori into the back.
Right.
And after Ori has left the room, you can see that Akbanok, the orc, has basically kind of like relaxed and is just like slowly rocking back and forth in the chair next to the literally a quarter of his size human woman also rocking back and forth in the chair with the little wooden puzzle in her hands. At this point, a lizard folk woman approaches the four of you and hello. I apologize if I do kill you, but I will try not to. I'm afraid I'm not quite myself, and I'm trying my best to handle the repercussions of that. And at that point, Thronarv kind of kneels down and, oh, Tulvir, you don't have to worry about that. If you try to kill us, we'll stop you, no problem. And the woman kind of Thank you. I just think it should be wise for you to know. And at this point, she walks over to another group of three people. You could see a dwarf, an elf, and a human kind of standing there talking to each other kind of near the entrance and kind of gives the same spiel to them, and they look on in confusion.
You said, out of character, there were about 24 people here.
Yeah.
How many people do we know of that have gone missing, like, recently? Is this more people than we were expecting?
Make at this point, it's probably been about 5 or 10 minutes, so a lot of people have sort of disseminated and spread out. So go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Also,
See if
I
you can
was
kind of
kind of
piece that
assuming
together.
that the 2 dozen included us, right? Or is it 2 dozen plus us 5?
It's a lot of people. It was just sort of a rough number.
Fair. No, yeah, I get you.
Oh, that is a dirty 20.
30, 20. Okay, I'll count. Yeah, roughly 20-ish people. Maybe a little less from what you saw.
And does that kind of match with what we were expecting to find, or?
So you know that there were 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 people staying at Ridden's Dredge as patients. You also know that there were the 2 caretakers, which makes 10. Paranel makes 11. Plus Yana and Melee Tierson makes 13. Yeah, it seems like a little more people than you expected, but seems to be pretty close.
Which isn't, honestly, that unexpected that there are slightly more people here than we expected, because nobody seems to care that there are people going missing. So who's been keeping track?
Yeah.
Some random tourist has ended up here and no one's even known or been the wiser. Like, that's not all that surprising, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's not like, a huge difference.
That is assuming, though, that everyone is here. You know what I mean?
Actually, do we get, like, the vibe that they were waiting for us? This is the new batch, or is that just Ori being nuts?
You get the sense that it's like there was not a sense of preparation. It wasn't like they were like, get ready with the balloons. Like, judging by just like the general chaos of everything, it was as if everyone just was kind of there.
Like it was like
I feel
lunchtime
like we
or
deserve
something.
balloons. Maybe are we after the doctor first or the sheriff? Now that we're here,
Doctor's right here. Maybe we should go for the doctor first, since he's like basically right in front of us.
okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Awesome. As you start to head a little bit further into Ridden's Dredge, you hear a hissing noise.
Yeah, it's me closing Discord again because I forgot that I can't open Discord. It's fine. It's back up.
Yeah. You see Quinn sort of walking out of the back. Just in front, you see what looks like a small, older human man, really skinny, not wearing a shirt, completely barefoot, just sprint out at full speed and zoom, rushes right by him. And Quinn kind of, Yeah, well, we'll catch up with him later. And now walking over, you can see that individual stepping back over to the dwarf and the orc and kind of checking in on Akbanok. And this appears to be the doctor. This appears to be Quinn. And they briefly share a few words, apparently discussing Ori's condition and how Ak was reacting to seeing Ori almost have an episode.
Uh, eh, um, excuse me. Hi. Hello.
Uh, yes. Hi. Hello.
Quinn,
Sorry,
I
you
presume?
four. Yes. Yeah, the four of you were talking with Ori. I hope he wasn't too upsetting. Sometimes he has a tendency
Oh,
to kind
on
of go
the
off.
scale of things that are upsetting, I think that ranked very low on the things that have happened to us in the last few minutes.
Yes.
I don't know if you've noticed, but we don't appear to be where we were a few moments ago.
What do you mean?
Well, it was midnight, and now it is, and I just kind of like gesture towards the sun rays. And also you
It's
are all, um, we were aware of you before now because you've been, uh, when do you think it is?
is everything all right? Are you okay, Miss? Was your goal to find the Ridden's Dredge? Were you sent here? Did someone abandon you here? And starts looking outside towards people.
I'm going to turn to Oriana. And what language do we share? Infernal. In Infernal, I would like to say, uh, fuck. Um, I think he thinks I'm crazy. How do I explain this without seeming like I belong as a patient here?
I think there's literally no way to tell someone who thinks that you're crazy that you're not crazy. Because insisting that you're not crazy is just gonna make you sound crazier.
Look, if you want to jump in with some, like, that would be really helpful. So, and I'm switching back to common now.
Mm-hmm.
Indulge me, Doctor. Uh, what what day is it today, and what time is it right now?
Can't see the sun, so it's afternoon, if I had to guess. Sometime shortly around 4 in the afternoon. And it's should be the 12th, if I remember correctly, but my calendar's back in my office. Um, what time do you think it is? What day do you think it is?
Hate that tone. Um, so the 12th, like, is that significantly different to what it should be based on where we just came from?
Um, well, firstly, he didn't say what month, and secondly, it was or probably around the 23rd.
Uh, mm. And you haven't noticed anything unusual over these last few weeks or months? Life has been pretty consistent here?
No, I mean there was all of the excitement of all of these people showing up. I have to imagine maybe some sort of tour group or something coming down from the pot, but
Showing
we
up.
get those sometimes.
Right.
Tell me, where are you from? If I might ask. Again, I'm Quinn. Do you mind if I get your name?
My name is Eminence. This is my
Eminence.
sister Oriana,
It is
my
nice to
friend
meet you, Eminence.
Aery, my friend Natalie.
Hmm.
We're tourists here in the pot.
Welcome.
Beautiful, town, by the way. Lovely, very relaxing.
I mean, it could use some improvements, but it does well enough.
We would just. Um, I'm gonna keep looking at everyone else in the party with the like universal like help me eyes.
Yeah. At this
Aery is
point,
watching.
the dwarf next to Quinn is like, look, clearly this whatever it is you are trying to say is making you uncomfortable. So tell you what, why don't we all just take a seat at the table right here? I'll pour you a nice cup of tea, and we can have a nice, calm, relaxed discussion about what it is that's got you so uncomfortable. Does that sound fair?
Well, aren't you lovely? I don't appreciate the condescension, but you are lovely. Yes, I'd like a cup of tea.
Of course. And please, and he kind of pulls his seat back from the table. I don't mean to be condescending. I just find that a little bit of direction can go a long way.
Is everybody else having tea?
I'll have a tea. Aries just kind of like, not like outright like staring at Quinn, but just like, who is this man? Like
Yeah,
trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah, the dwarf. Oh, my name is Van Buer. I work with Quinn here to take care of people. I'll put the kettle on. I hope while it's getting ready to boil, you don't mind if I see to everyone and do the rounds.
Of course, go ahead.
And he does. He steps aside, puts a kettle on a small stove, and lights it. You can see Quinn kind of seats himself at the table, and if you'd like, you can start talking now, and I'll update Valmbjör on anything that you need to share with us. But at this point, Quinn kind of looks at the rest of you. Oriana, Aery, Natalie. What brings you to the pot? What brings you to Ridden's Dredge?
Oriana's going to make very direct eye contact with Emmy and say, I'm here to drop my sister off. I've heard this facility is very good.
We do try our best. We don't have a room prepared immediately, but we can get one ready by the night, if you'd like. Um,
I would have you know, I am a princess. No room that you could prepare for me will be to my standards.
of course. And do you wish to be referred to by a title, or is Eminence merely okay?
Eminence is my chosen name and chosen title. It's kind of a 2-for-1. It's like share.
I see. Well, we can arrange something and hopefully see if it meets to your needs, Eminence. Turning back towards Oriana, how long do you intend to be staying here?
Excuse me, I don't appreciate you addressing my sister as if I'm not in the room.
It was a plural question. How long do you intend to be staying here, Eminence?
Well, I intend to stay here until I figure out what the fuck is going on.
That seems a very wise goal to set. It's very good to have some sort of destination in mind. What specifically don't you understand about the situation, Eminence?
Well, all right, let's look. Cards on the table. I was trying to protect you, but I don't think that's going to work in this situation. So let me
Of
just
course.
be straight with you. You appear to be trapped in some kind of other dimension or time dilation or something. Something strange is happening here. You have been missing for a very long time. I don't know if you realize that, but everybody here has been missing for a very long time except me, except my friends, of course, as well. We just arrived here. And we are here to rescue you. You understand that I'm actually here to help you. So we are going to try to find a way to take you back home. And I understand that this is a lot to take in, but
Yes.
yes.
Well, that sounds like quite an endeavor. At this point, Valendor kind of sits down and kind of puts the cup down on the table with the tea and passes one over to Aery as well. All right, what I miss? And Quinn kind of looks over at him like, well, Eminence is going to be staying with us for some time enough to figure out why we have all disappeared and why we are
Thank
not
you.
where we are.
Yes, precisely. Finally.
Yes. And Eminence, as someone clearly as lucid and well spoken as yourself, what what can we do to help you reach that goal?
Switch back to Infernal. Fuck you.
It's a
Sorry?
it's a it's a good plan.
Look,
You'll be well taken care of here, I can tell.
how do you expect that if I can play along with this, but what are we trying to achieve here?
Someone on the inside.
Someone on the inside. They've been here for weeks.
They don't seem to know that it's been weeks. You may, as a patient, have much more of an opportunity to speak unsupervised with other patients.
You're going to owe me for this.
Perhaps.
Common.
I can see that you and did you mention that Oriana was your sister?
She is my sister, yes.
I
Yes.
mentioned that she was my sister as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I can see that the two of you are still a bit uncomfortable with this whole idea and situation. Please, you can feel free to take a tour of the facility, speak to the people that you like. Nothing has to be concrete or set in stone right away. And even if you should so choose to not stay here for any period of time, Dengbuche still has moderate facilities, though Randall can be a bit vacant at times. Um, know that we will still prepare a place for you if you so choose to take it. Again, everything here is voluntary, choosing to stay, choosing to go. We are not forcing anything on anyone.
Well, I suppose if your facilities are up to my standards, I might be convinced.
We will try our best, Eminence.
Would you like to
Well, I
take a tour,
suppose
Emmy?
if I'm going to take a tour, I should meet the other residents.
Uh, all of you are welcome to join us. In fact, it could be kind of a fun opportunity to liven things up.
That I can do.
Wonderful. Valn, Herod, He made a run for the anvil again. If you could, and her, Van Bjor is like, yeah, I'll get him. And
Sorry,
kind of pushes
anvil?
back from the table. Yeah, the salt anvil.
Uh, sorry, I'm not familiar with the area. What?
It's a sort of regional monument nearby the pot that it's just a natural deposit of salt in the area, and Herod likes to lick it. Um, it's just raw salt. So usually, if we catch him in time, he doesn't have too many cuts and bruises. But one night we found him after he had been out there all night, and he was pretty chewed up. So I'm gonna head off after Herod.
Yes.
We
I'm
can
wanting to
introduce
get
you.
chewed up.
Yes, we can introduce you to him later when we get him back. Wonderful.
When
Well then,
is-
oh, go ahead.
when there's like a moment where I don't know this exact situation isn't happening, I would like to ask Quinn if I know them.
Yeah. You probably get an opportunity to kind of lean over to Quinn while Valen is explaining things, and Quinn looks at you with a slightly puzzled expression before a little bit of a smile appears on his face. Well, have you been to Andapolis?
Yes, he hasn't been to Andapolis.
A surprising number of people around here. Have you ever attended any theater productions in Andapolis?
Yeah, so many. You were in them?
I was previously an actor of some moderate renown in Andapolis.
And your
Uh,
name is Quinn? Was it
uh,
always Quinn?
it's what I go by now.
You know that I'm asking what you used to go by.
I do. And I'm sure if you do get an opportunity to return to Andapolis and scour any sort of records, you will be able to find my real name given my description. But until that time, I would ask that you refer to me as Quinn while I'm here.
Tell me, and then I'll still refer to you as Quinn, but I really want to know.
I put that life behind me.
I mean, I've done that too, and actually, no, I wouldn't tell anyone, so it's fair.
I appreciate the understanding.
I will begrudgingly respect that.
Thank
But I definitely recognize you.
you. It's always good to know that your work is, at the very least, seen. But I'm.
Well,
go ahead.
can I ask why you left? Why are you here? I mean, compared to Andapolis, this place really blows.
Yeah, a bit of a sore spot. And you can see his hand kind of goes to the scar on the side of his face.
Oh.
Let's just say I didn't agree with one of the directors of a production I was in, and our show blade was replaced with a real one.
Oh my god. That's really fucked up.
The funnier thing was it was meant to be a death blow, and the only thing that ended up dying was my career.
Huh.
Did you ever see The Rise of Tiamat?
I mean, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, when the cultist fights the hero of ages on top of the Well of Ascension, and the hero manages to land a final blow, sending the cultists to their doom.
Yeah, I got to level with you. I didn't really pay like that much attention to what was going on in the play. I was just like, nah. No. checking out the actors and stuff, but I'm sure it looks really good.
We were in line for several awards. I'm getting completely off track. I would love to speak with you about this perhaps a little bit later, but I have a potential new patient that I must attend to.
Sure. Okay, well, good luck with her.
What did you say your name was?
Aery.
Aery, it is a pleasure to meet you, Aery.
Nice to meet you too, Quinn.
And he kind of smiles at the name and realizes now that he says your name and you said that you've also gone through something like that, so he kind of chuckles at that a little bit. But anyways, I apologize. Let's meet some of the people who are here. Over here, just a few steps away, we have Akbanok and Aria. Akbanok we just call Ak, and goes over and kind of pats the giant orc on the shoulder, and Ak kind of looks over and takes all of you in, and the lights are on, but nobody is home. Just a vacant expression, and seeing a half orc, there is like a little bit of like a smile starts to curl up a little bit of like, hey, you look like me. Akbanok is he's our gentle giant. We've had him here for a while. He was here before I arrived, and Valn was taking care of him. Akbanok suffered a few too many blows to the head and is taking a vacation from some of his old problems. Generally, Akbanok likes to do laps around the crater whenever he gets a little bit too antsy, but you should know that sometimes whenever Akbanok has a fit, we will send him to his room and do our best to contain him. This he's broken a couple of our tables, and more than a few chairs. And next to this emerald gem is Area. And you can see Area is kind of, again, slowly rocking back and forth in the rocking chair. And she has just like a small, like, wooden puzzle in her hands, and she's currently focused on it. Area was a resident here at the pot, and she is an absolute sweetheart. Bit of a stubborn old mule sometimes, but we love her for it. She loves puzzles, so if you have anything, books or puzzles, she's the person to bring it to. Yeah, she's absolute sweetheart. Over there we have Tulvir. Tulvir, she's having difficulty processing her own concept of identity. She believes that she has been replaced by a doppelganger that has killed her and taken her memories. Tulvir, she has got a sense of humor, though. I've not seen any evidence to challenge or support that hypothesis. However, we are here to support her through whatever support that she needs. Over here on the couch, and you can see sitting on the couch with his legs kind of pulled up to his chest, hair slicked back with just like a big old loaf of bread. This is Duck. Previously, Doug, his brother, brought him here. And Duck has a very close relationship with all of the ducks in our community and area. I think you can probably put together why that might be. But Duck is fine. Duck is a lot of fun. We like to play with Duck. I will say that you should know that sometimes ducks can be territorial and overprotective. Not that our duck ever is, but sometimes they can be. Um, Over here we have Hadrian. You can see sitting in a recliner reading a book is just a young adolescent human male, kind of breaking out a little bit on the face, little scraggly pencil mustache. Um, Looks up at the name and, "Hi, I'm Hadrian. I are you staying here?" "Mm,
I will be staying here for as long as it takes to rescue you and your friends from your mysterious torment.
Okay, yeah. Is there anything I can do to help you with that?"
I will let you know if I require your assistance. Thank you so much, Hadrian, for the
Of
offer.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I am allergic to something at the pot, so I kind of spend a lot of time over here. So I'll help in whatever way I can, as long as I don't have to go like too far into the pot.
Understood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, and lastly we have Alexia, and sitting at one of the tables in the back, and just sitting, hands kind of folded in front of her, you see a halfling woman. Alexia is our most recent addition. That is assuming whether or not you decide to stay with us. Um, she's a little bit like Awk, for lack of a better word. And at hearing her name, you can see she kind of turns over and looks at you, and her eyes kind of gaze across the group of you, stopping just for a moment on the two tiefling sisters before kind of returning back to the same spot in the wall. Yes, we're still trying to learn more about Alexia. She doesn't speak very much, but hasn't been any trouble. Likes to go on evening strolls, and lately she's been going with Valn, but she's gotten a hang of the area. She's starting to go on her own now as well, which is quite nice. Hopefully, if you spend enough time here at the pot, you'll start to learn some of the local locations, locales, and get a feel for this place on your own. You won't need people to travel with you. Not that you do need anyone to travel with you currently, Eminence. Um, More so that if you have any questions or need any assistance, it's nice to have someone with you, like a sister.
Appreciate that. Yes, well, hello, everyone. It's lovely to meet you. My name is Eminence. I am a princess of hell.
Congratulations. By your father or mother's side?
Well, that's actually a complicated question, but let's just say father.
I can't wait to hear more about it. Well, wonderful. Now that introductions are out of the way, um, if you'll excuse me, I need to go check on something in the back. But feel free to explore around the facilities as you find necessary. We are a fairly open place and location, and it is starting to get a bit late. We might hopefully be getting some dinner brought by soon. You can feel free to eat here or head back over towards Tangoche to eat as is standard.
Thank
And with that, Quinn smiles, nods, gives an extra smile to Aery before turning and disappearing down one of the hallways.
I think it would probably be a good idea to go back into the pod for dinner.
Yes. Wouldn't want them to think that I'm too crazy to leave.
Gave you permission, just don't cause any trouble, and I'm sure everything will be fine, Emmy.
I mean, maybe I will cause trouble. Maybe that would maintain my cover better as the crazy sister that you want institutionalized.
I mean, she kind of just gave you a free pass to do whatever you want.
She kind of just did, didn't she?
Thank you so much for pointing that out, Aery.
You're
I
welcome.
don't think you thought this through.
I will admit I didn't have the amount of preparation time to come up with a plan as I would have liked. However, I am, by the way, since I said we're going to dinner, I would have walked out so that we could have this conversation
Gotcha.
on the road, not in the hospital.
Surrounded by people.
Yeah, like just in common again, not even in Inferno, being like, yeah, I made a plan. The plan was to tell everyone that you're crazy even though you're not crazy. But that was the point of saying that we should go into town for dinner so that we could chat on the way without people around. Yeah, I maybe didn't have enough time to come up with a plan, but he already thought that you were crazy. And that was not my fault.
Well, it wasn't my fault, was it?
Wasn't it?
Look, how do you explain to someone who is a doctor in a psychiatric institution that they are being controlled by an unknown magical situation without seeming like you're crazy?
I don't think you can, and I wasn't aware that we were planning on telling them until we knew what to do.
Well, I mean, maybe that's the problem, isn't it? Maybe it's that we don't plan what we're going to say before we open our mouths.
Potentially, yes. But also, this is a good opportunity. I think this is a great opportunity.
If they give me the worst room in the place, then we are going to have words.
I would suggest, for the sake of getting out of here, once we've gotten out of here, that you don't speak too much about your mother.
I mean, not that I was planning to, but wow. Wow.
You left. You opened yourself up to that with the it's a little complicated. I feel like if you're here for long enough that he wants to sit down and have a session with you, after that he's going to ask questions.
He asked me a question about whether I was a princess of hell by my mother's side or my father's side, and I said it was a complicated question. He thinks I'm crazy. Why does it matter what I say if he already thinks I'm crazy?
Because if you tell him the truth, when we get back, he may still think you're crazy. If he realizes that all of this is the truth.
Oh, okay. So apparently the truth is crazy then, is it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes!
Look, I'm not going to get into this with you again like this right now. We already know what you think of my mother.
It's no, you're right. We're not getting into this right now. Let's just go find something to eat, see if all the people in the town, because just, I shouldn't have said anything.
You're right. You shouldn't.
You know, we still have 10-15 minutes before we get to Tangboucher. Could air your grievances. I hear it's good for the soul.
Yeah, you should just have this discussion right now.
A little more than a 10-15 minute walk discussion.
Could open up the topic.
Yeah, get a head start on it.
Yeah.
Some topics don't open very well to be closed later.
I think it's already been opened.
No time like the present, as they say.
No. It's still quite closed. It's perfectly. We are both perfectly capable of just putting a lid on this entire situation.
What
Burying
happens when you
in
put
the
a
health-
lid on a steaming pot?
it stops steaming.
Usually it boils over.
Yeah, but if you take it off of the flame, and then you take that pot and you walk outside with it and you pour the pot like over the garden and then pretend it never existed.
Or that could be a reference to speaking. You let your feelings
I
free,
feel like
they go.
there was something very pointed in there about how Oriana feels about your mother.
It's not
Maybe should
how
be
I
explored.
feel about her mother. I have no negative feelings towards her mother.
Of course
don't
you don't.
know
You
if I
didn't know
believe that.
her.
At this point in time, you see an individual is running towards you. Thrinarv is running towards the four of you, coming
I
from the
assumed he was
direction
with us.
of the pot.
He's running?
Running. Yeah.
The
like full
chillest
speed.
dude we've ever met is running?
Yeah. And it is impressive to see because of how big he is. It's like watching Hagrid just put it into
Full
fifth gear.
sprint.
Yeah. Yeah. And he is not out of shape. He is a fit dude. He is a lumberjack. And immediately just the size and speed with which he's approaching catches all of your attention, and within a matter of seconds he catches up to you. They're gone. The rest of the town is gone. It's just
And
us.
yes, us and all of the other people who had disappeared. Yes,
Yeah.
when we went to sleep last night, did we not explain why we were doing this? Like, this is kind of the plan.
I didn't hear any sort of plan. When
You
we got
really
here, I saw you were doing this. You're gonna put yourself in the Britain's dread. You're gonna check yourself in. So I thought it was a good idea to go check on the town, and nobody's there. It's just us.
Can
And
we insight check him? I want to see if he's like genuinely worried. This dude that's usually fairly regularly like, like cool man is actually genuinely freaking out.
Yeah. Make an insight check.
I was gonna say, don't fuck me over this time. 19 is much better.
19. Yeah. You get the sense that he's kind of going through a roller coaster of emotions, right? Like you guys uplifted him yesterday, and he had to go through the crisis of like, can I actually be helpful? And so he decided to, and in so doing, came with you and found all of the missing people. So, in his happiness to do so, went back to town to go check out what was happening, and the rest of the town is gone. He solved one problem only to create another. Only instead of only like a dozen or a dozen and a half people missing, it's the rest of the town.
Renav, we are not in the right place right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good assessment. Where is the right place?
It's a very good question. but I believe it involves some magic shit.
It certainly
Okay.
does involve some magic shit.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do with that. I don't know any magic.
Neither do I. But for the moment, if we just accept that this is the wrong place, we need to get everyone back to the good place.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, we need to find everyone first, so that when we do take them, we take all of them.
Right.
Yes. I'm gonna go see if I can find Paranel. He was investigating the people who were missing. Maybe he has a list of people, and we can use that as a jumping off point.
Do you know where he is?
No? But you told me I know everything in this town. I know all of the places that he could be.
We think it's a good idea to check out Tangbouche first. I feel that you
Okay.
should come with us and we'll help you look for... What's his name?
Pa-
I have
Paranel.
Peneril in my head, but
Paronel.
Peronel. Okay. Peronel. All right, I'll try and remember that. We will go to Tangbouche first. We will look to see what's going on there because they're expecting a delivery of food there. And obviously they're not concerned about not getting it. So it's got to come from there, right? We're going to look there first and then we will look for Peronel.
All right. That sounds like a good idea. Sorry. I was just really relieved and then really not relieved. But everyone's here. It seems like people aren't hurt. So that's good.
I think a few bruised egos, but it's pretty regular for us.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the plan?
Tangbouche.
Tangbouche, because when I did the scrying, that woman and her daughter were there.
I figured
I
it might be
figured there may-
too uppy to explain to him that we saw them in the thing in this alternate place. I figured that would be way too fucky to explain to Brenna.
I thought wasn't he around when we did the
He was with you.
scrying? Wouldn't he? Yeah, he would have seen that.
Man, he's like really just an invisible force in every room that we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Just
So he did
assume
see
that he's with you, unless otherwise stated. He kind of comes and goes.
But yeah, I only added the Tangbouche part because I was like, if they're supposedly repeating a day, they still obviously receive the food, so it has to come from there, right? So there might be someone still there.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Perhaps. Great. So you head back to Tangbouche, and the next... I assume you've been sort of walking and talking after calming Threnarv down. The next minute or two, as you crest the side of the crater, is you still find yourself a little anxious for what you'll see over the other side until finally you reach the summit and peer over. It is empty, serene. You can still see the hot springs in the center, fully bubbling away, steam rising into the air. You do see two individuals stepping into the tunnel that leads to the Spore Walls. But they quickly disappear out of view into the darkness of the tunnels. But it is a ghost town.
When you say empty, though, is it empty of buildings or like just empty of people?
Just empty of people.
Okay.
It's the exact same as you saw it earlier in the day. No people.
Right.
Just to clarify, what Quinn said to us when he suggested we go to Tangbouche for dinner was that a lot of the residents normally go there for dinner, right? Like, even the people that were in that room would usually be going to Tangbouche for dinner?
Tengboche is the place to go for dinner,
Yeah.
for
So even like the
meals in general.
residents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Intriguing. I guess we just head towards the monastery itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heading up towards the northern side of the crater, you again head towards Tengboche, and you recognize the um, almost like hollowed out, uh, like cafeteria esque area. You can see again through the crater towards the other side, towards the rest of the terrain nearby. You see tables and chairs, but it is empty and quiet. And then you see two individuals, a woman and a young girl, kind of on the northern edge of Tengboche.
Threnov is familiar with these two, aren't they? Assuming that these are the ones that we scryed on, right? Like, would we be familiar enough to spot them that's them?
From this distance, it does look to be the same two people that you scryed on, yes.
I'll look to the others and just... Does Threnov know these people? They're the ones that were like the holidays. They
Yeah.
do come at similar times.
Yeah, I feel like he was the one who told us the information about the Tierson family. This should be Maylee and Iana, right?
Yeah.
And if he told us about them, he'd recognize them.
They
Maybe
only
you-
disappeared a week ago. A week for the mother, 2 days for the kid.
I'll just like motion to Threnov to like come a bit closer. Be like, maybe you speak to them first. Know you. Are they like looking at us or anything?
They are currently looking northward.
Maybe you speak with them first. Because I think we will alarm them. See if you can get them to come and join us for...
Okay.
Obviously, we'll
Okay.
keep like maybe like 2 steps back, I reckon.
Oh yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. Whatever you feel is appropriate. But he steels himself and takes a deep breath and walks over before calling out, Yana? Maylee? And the two of them kind of turn, and you do recognize now that you can see their faces. There's a brief moment of confusion before you could see the little girl kind of smiles happily and kind of runs over, arms wide for a big hug, and Bernard just easily just scoops her up and, hey, there you are. Yana, it is good to see you. And Yana, Threnarv, this is unexpected. What brings you here? Well, to be completely frank, uh, we, my friends and I, have been looking for you, Yana and Natalie. It's a bit of a long story. Why don't we sit down and I'll do my best to explain what I can, and where I have gaps, my friends over here will fill in the rest of the details. And Yana kind of, okay, sure. Is something wrong? And Bernard, "Mm, I'm not sure yet. Um, it's good that we found you, and it's good that you're healthy. And I mean, I can't say happy, but I'm happy to see you, and that's got to count for something. Yeah, well, we'll sit down. Uh, and over the next few minutes, Threnarv explains the situation. Um, Using your strategy, he asks the day that Yana thinks it is, and Yana says the 26th. To which Thronarv says it's the 3rd of the following month, according to everyone else.
Which
And
makes
the 4 of
sense
you are
because
able
she disappeared 2 weeks later than
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Melee says it's the 1st. But again, the timelines kind of match up. Thronarv explains that he's not quite sure what happened. They were able to, the 4 of you were able to scry on 2 of them, Yana and Melee, and found them here at Tengboche, but there were no other people. And following back on the footsteps as far as Thornarf can remember, he joined with 4 of you to stay at Ridden's Dredge over midnight, and suddenly it was daytime, and there were people, and the people who were missing, and now we're here, wherever here is. Yana, on the other hand, you could see that she has difficulty remembering what happened before everyone just kind of appeared together. Seems to be a little bit fuzzy for her.
Fuzzy for her, but not as much for Melee.
Melee also seems to have a little bit of difficulty.
Mm.
However, the 4 of you and Thrinarv can remember with perfect clarity the moments leading up to it.
If this is a repeating day, though, that's not that. I mean, like, I guess it's like it doesn't overly make any markers stick up. Flags are like.
I'm just wondering how long it takes for the brain to go all foggy, because that gives us an indication of how long we have before we start to forget.
Well, according to your timeline of events, Melee's only been here for 2 days, and she already.
Ah, shit.
We did say we only gave ourselves 2 days, so that's what we got.
Yeah, the one thing that both Melee and Yana do remember is the ground rumbling, like some kind of earthquake, but nothing else stands out. They can remember details from like a month ago when they were at home, but just remembering that specific day, that specific moment.
And did they mention a time where the ground rumbled?
Midnight.
Then again, we did get fossiled by the weird plane thing, so kind of makes sense. I don't know about everyone else, but maybe it's a good idea if we all stay in a similar place. How would you both feel about heading back to Ridden's Dredge? Everyone else.
That might be a good idea. I don't. That might be a good idea. Staying near other people. Honestly, I originally came here because I was going to hope to try to find my husband, but he nowhere to be found. Which, if your story holds up, is a good thing because that means he's here, but not here.
Right. We've seen him. Seems set, but well.
That's good. And as long as Tomas is behaving himself, unlike someone.
Well, he is I can't speak on Maylee's behavior, but
don't tell me if Thomas is doing any. I'm just gonna worry.
he's very well.
Good, thank you. So there's nobody here to prepare food. Do you think we should make something and bring it back to Ridden's Dredge and let them know?
I just had this really horrible thought. I don't know if I should elaborate out of character or not. Maybe. I don't know, time stuff always does things to my brain that just like, I don't know, I can't explain it. If there is, I'm just gonna muse aloud. Natalie has had a brain moment, a little so if, let's say that maybe Aery was right. This is a loop. Do you think that normally Maylee and Yana come here, they find that there's no one here, they make the food, they bring it back? Think that this is all just a part of the regular routine of it?
Like we've been involved the entire time.
Well, even more that there will be some way that we will eventually fit in. Maybe there are other things that always happen. They always have food delivered from Tang Boucher, which is probably from you two. There might be other things that happen during the day that are like self-fulfilling. You know, like maybe someone screams at a certain time, or...
And at that moment, someone screams something.
I am not an expert in time magic, but I mean, how else would they? I mean, it's not as if they would starve if they didn't have food, because things would reset every day. I suppose we can only know by living it out. I mean, if we try to change anything, how are we going to know if it has actually changed, if it is what was going to happen, no matter what?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. But also, what if it doesn't happen? If we're in a loop, if the same thing doesn't happen, that's... So either it's do something, or which is should theoretically be the exact same thing that happens, or we do something to change it, and then maybe that fucks with something. Train tracks.
At this stage, I don't think we're in a position to be trying to change something when we don't know what usually happens.
Yeah, but if we've only got, realistically, 2 days...
Just out of, this probably isn't going to work, but just out of curiosity, I'm going to take out my humming disc and just send Silencer you up message.
Your disc starts to hum, and then it just goes thunk and stops vibrating completely.
I think that means we're out of service range.
But
I mean, I thought that would happen, but you know, worth a shot.
I vote for fucking things up. Worst comes to worst, they don't eat for a night. And that's not the worst thing. There are plenty of things to eat, I'm sure, around the place. The best situation, it does fuck something up. Something happens. And then this whole thing is changing in some way. Worst situation, nothing happens. Everyone's just a little hungry.
See the logic in that? Besides, they couldn't have. I mean, if everything that is happening here is happening over and over again, I doubt that they have prepared a room for me if I wasn't here before. So if we just go back and keep to that plan, things should change.
Also, I was just gonna try and speak in another language. I know 2 other languages that no one here speaks. Um, I'm gonna say it quietly, but not like I'm not intentionally trying to hide it from other people, but kind of like if they kind of like are trying to kind of basically if you've got people making a plan together, you're either gonna listen in intently, but I'm trying to do it so that it's not intended for them. Like it doesn't matter too much what they hear, but like polite way they'll just kind of tune out. You know what I mean?
Do you want to step aside and pull the rest of your party away for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
I just more think that's more rude than anything. Why am I worried about social etiquette when I'm in a roleplay situation that I can literally mold to any which way I want?
If this is a time loop, they're not going to remember. You can be as rude as you want to be.
We saw 2 people entering the Spore Wall. I think that's where we should go. I think we should send Thrinarv back with no food to Riddenstrap.
Is Thrinarv invited to this?
No, Thrinarv isn't invited this time.
Okay.
Dornov can escort the other 2.
Yeah, actually, Thrinarv, yeah, as you step aside, Thrinarv is like, we'll get started making something in the kitchen. Seems like a good opportunity.
I think it best we don't do that.
No? What? Why not?
Well, we are going to go out and find our own food for the night. Something tasty, something good. Bit of a treat for everyone.
Okay.
We have some things that
Sure.
we need to organize. Now, you said that... I'm still saying Penarol in my head. Perenol?
Paranel.
Perenel. Like
Sounds like a
Chanterelle,
medication name.
Perenel.
It does.
Come on.
Yeah.
What were some of these places that he would normally go?
He liked to spend time at my notes. Thibalis Springs to the north.
North? Good to know.
Yeah. I mean, his home is here in the pot, so we could check his home. But I mean, sun's starting to go down, and I don't see any lights down there.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
He could
Good to
be
know.
at the Grand Prismatic Springs on the east side of town.
Good to know.
I thought we saw. Didn't you say that name of the people that we saw while we were at the? Or am I just getting too many names mixed up? I thought we saw him briefly at the sanitarium.
You did.
He ran out after
Oh yeah, he was looking for
someone.
the salt licky dude.
Yeah, who went to the Salt Anvil, which
Yes.
is the point where we'll ask, would he have been near the Salt Anvil?
I think you're getting Paranel and Von Bjor confused. Paranel
But I thought he was the one that ran out, and that's why they chased him.
So Herod is the tiny human who ran out with his shirt off and no shoes.
Mhm.
He ran out towards the Salt Anvil. Afterwards, Valnbior was sent by Quinn to go find him. When all of you arrived and there was just the big explosion of people, Paranel was one of the people whom Threnarv
left them.
listed seeing. Yeah. He was like, oh, I know you, I know you, I know you. I know
Right,
you.
right. I thought he went out as in he went out to follow someone, not. Okay, that makes more sense. Good to know. Anyway, we will go fetch some things for dinner. Head back to Ridden Stretch. Make sure
Yeah.
you keep these two company, keep them safe.
Okay. I could do that. Yeah, that's all good. We will wait. We'll let everyone know that you're trying to find something special.
For sure.
Yeah. Good luck. We'll see you soon. Yeah.
Definitely. Safe travels.
If this is a time loopy thing, you know what? It doesn't. If it is a time loopy thing, I don't need to tell you now. We'll come back to it. We'll be fine.
You can feel free to finish
if
that.
it's a time loopy thing, tell us something that we would not otherwise know, so we can explain to you that it is a time loopy thing in the future.
I mean, I kind of said it like I was gonna have some realization as I was saying it, and then nothing kind of came out. I
What's
guess if it's a
something
time,
incredibly embarrassing you did as a child?
nothing you do here matters. Maybe. Unless you break the time loopy thing and people remember.
But just in case we don't break the time loopy thing, and you get caught in the time loopy thing, what is an incredibly embarrassing memory that I can tell you to prove to you that this is a time loop?
I mean, wouldn't I be in the time loop with you because I came here at the same time?
Oh, for fuck's sake, just get stuck in it then.
I'll tell you later. I
Fine.
need to think of it.
If I get stuck in the time loop, ask me about the demonic teddy bear.
Okay.
See?
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Easy. Okay. Embarrassing childhood memory. Oh, ask me about. Oh God. Fuck. This is my dungeon master brain, like
Layering.
digging.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just loading right now. Loading wheel.
A good childhood memory for a character that you step into the shoes of for like,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
5 sessions max. Like,
Yeah. Ask me about Mathronda.
I shall do.
anyway. Have fun. We'll see you later.
Great. And Threnarv takes Melee and Yana and starts to head off, leaving the four of you alone in Tengboche Monastery in the dark.
I'm just going to cross my arms for a little bit and be like, I technically didn't lie. We are looking for something special.
Fine. You technically didn't lie. I mean, but why does it matter? Like we said, we're in a time loop. They're not going to stop.
All right. I think we should head to. Saw those two people. Either they're people who are stuck or they're someone suspicious.
True.
And plus, Prismatic Springs are over there. They said that Perenelle person hangs out there. Place to check. And they should be pretty bright at night, theoretically.
I'm happy to head for the Spore Wall.
Agreed. I suppose.
We don't have to eat any mushrooms or anything. I promise, Aery.
I mean,
Yeah,
We-
all these
no, no.
spores like get in our ears and our nose and stuff.
Aery, I make you a promise. Once we are out of here and we deal with what we need to do, we will go to Andopolis with you. Andapolis with you. Spend as much
Yeah.
time there as you want.
Okay. But I'm not going to forget you said this.
I expect that you won't.
Unless it's a
Okay,
time loop,
let's
and
go,
nothing
let's
you
go.
say matters.
Maybe that's exactly why
We'll
Natalie
never
said
leave
it.
this town.
No, I'm joking. But
Yeah, excellent. You make your way over towards the Spore Walls. There is something a little bit eerie about the pot. It's calm, relaxed atmosphere. You start to realize how much of that atmosphere is driven by the people who stay there rather than just the location itself. After you pass by empty doorway, dark window, upturned cart, it's just so many different breadcrumbs of the people who were there, but no conclusion. Finally, you find yourself at the entrance to this dark cavern, and where just a few hours ago, it feels like, you entered into a welcoming, warmly lit interior, this hive of activity. There is now a pitch black, menacing cave in front of you.
is that weird though? Because I thought that I don't know maybe if I assumed this. Weren't the spores like phosphorescent?
towards the bottom, but it's like 100-foot cave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
true.
so the tunnel is kind of like winding a little bit.
Right. Okay.
Because they had candles lighting the way before you hit the like
Yeah.
phosphorescent spore area.
Yeah. I don't know. Sus. Darkness is
Feels
sus,
spooky.
even if it is light. Nah. We're all good though. We can all see in the dark.
And with your dark vision, you can see 30 feet in front of you to where the tunnel curves out of vision. You see no
Oh,
sign of people.
Don. I can see 60 feet in front of me.
You can. 30 feet in front of you, there is a wall that curves to the
Oh,
left, out of
right.
vision.
Man, I really don't understand what curving looks like, do I?
You got X-ray vision now, Natalie. You can see straight through that wall.
It's got 60 feet of dark wall vision.
God, I'm a dickhead. Perfect. Let's go. I will have
Great.
like a hand on my great axe, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah. You start to head down this cavern. It's about 30 feet straight before it starts to curve off to the left a little bit and wind. And with your dark vision, you can see clearly the entire time. You see, after about 40 or so feet in, maybe 45, you start to see that blue glow emanating from further down the hallway. And you also hear voices. Very high-pitched and nasal, almost like guttural voices echoing down the hallway. And it's two, and they appear to be arguing.
Look. I'm gonna have to make a motion to the rest of everyone and like maybe put a finger to my ear or something. But I would like to see if I can discern what type of voice that is. Like, you said it was guttural. Do I get the vibe that it's like creature? Well, obviously, anything
Yeah.
that's person's.
Make a... Let's do perception check to see if you can hear it. Or, well, I would say you kind of start to hear it a little bit. What do you think? Like nature?
Well, I was
History?
thinking, honestly, I know it fucks me, but I was thinking nature because it's recalling lore, but then
about like plants and animals. In that same vein, so is history. Like
But also, yeah, so could survival as
we know
well.
about
Like,
general.
I think from Natalie's perspective, it would be a survival approach, kind of from like a, if I've encountered it before, I'd understand it kind of deal.
Sure. Yes. So if you do a survival approach, yeah. I can let you do a survival check here.
Sure. Oh, 25!
25. Language is not
Ow.
common. Just
Just hit
yourself in the
myself
face, why
in the
don't you?
spoon.
Ha! Throwing that spoon around. The first thing that catches your attention, it is not common. It appears to be somewhat bestial in nature. Again, very guttural sounds. It's not a language that you've heard before.
Definitely
But
not a language I've heard before.
as you are stopping and listening, you see down in front of you with your 25 survival, your eyes just kind of naturally drift down as you focus on the voices. You see two sets of tracks leading through this cavern. Sort of triangular, webbed feet.
I might try and like kneel down in the ground and motion to everyone else and like draw like a crescent underneath a footprint to kind of like show everyone else.
Mm. Yeah, the rest of you see these footprints as well. They appear to be bipedal, judging by the walking pattern, but they're in a foot shape that almost looks like a duck.
The ducks! The
We
ducks!
we saw very similar tracks last
the hill.
night, didn't we?
We saw
Yeah,
duck
This morning?
footprints, right? Well,
So these match the footprints that you saw outside of Ridden's Dredge on the
There are
south edge of the hill.
two sets of them now instead of just one, though.
It was two last time as well.
Ah, oops.
Do the footprints or the language match any kind of like infernal beast or something that Oriana and I would be familiar with?
It is not infernal.
Good.
It is not infernal, common, giant, orc, elvish, or sylvan.
how dare they have their own language?
Let me check something.
Sam's headset is off.
Hahaha.
I would like to feel very validated in the fact that I was very suspicious of ducks.
It's all about the ducks.
We
Where
knew,
ducks?
we knew there was something.
The ducks.
We're not talking about anything.
Shh.
I do not think it is a language that you recognize, but I'm just going to double check something just in case.
Don't
I'm
Any
guessing
of
telling
us
us the language
speak
would give it
duck.
away, I'm supposing.
Yes, it is. Do not think it is a language that you recognize.
Unless it's giant, orc, or
Yes.
common, I'm out.
Does it sound like quacking?
It does not. Gotcha. Cool. Nope, it is not a language that you recognize. Disappointed player noises.
Honestly, it's probably like something really obscure that like we would have like not really like a use for, if that makes sense.
Or it's something really normal that we just happen to not have.
It'd be like
It's just like dwarvish.
it's like
None of us speak
undercommon,
dwarvish.
and none of us know undercommon.
I have one with the shadows as a
Oh.
trait, so I can creep up in an area of dim light or darkness, I can use my action to become invisible until I move or take an action or a reaction. So I can theoretically, I mean, creeping up on them is moving, but I can like step and then stop and then become invisible, even if they have dark vision.
So I would say you can stealth up, and when you use one with shadows, you stop moving, but you go invisible.
Yeah. Okay. So I could.
I don't think you can use it and move at the same time.
No. But I would probably still be the best one of us to try to sneak up on them if that's what we plan to do. I have also pretty decent stealth.
What's the plan, fam?
I mean, if someone's gonna stealth, I'll just stand ready. I'm honestly not that stealthy, but not like not stealthy, if that makes sense. Like, I'd be happy to get a bit closer, but
I am incredibly not stealthy, so.
what are we dealing with this tunnel? Yeah, because I think Oriana, you would just be like staying very still. Because, like, you said we were 45 feet in, and we could see the glow.
So you're about way down the full length of the tunnel from what you remember to where it opens up into the rest of the cavern. Your direct line of sight cannot see the entrance to the cavern itself. The tunnel still kind of winds and bends a little bit, so there is opportunity. There is room to maneuver.
How far ahead of that is us? What
to
was
when
that?
It would be visible?
Yeah.
To we'll say 20, 25 feet.
Okay, not super far.
Yeah.
We could try get a bit closer. Or maybe two of us can.
I'm happy to try to creep closer.
I'm happy to go like 10 feet behind you. So like, hopefully if I'm not as stealthy, it won't matter as much. So if you'll go the full distance, I can go 10 feet behind.
Yeah, okay. I'll try to stealth up to them then.
I have a DM question before they fuck off. Shield of Faith says it's a shimmering field. Is that something that's going to draw attention if I cast it on Emmy to up her AC?
Yes.
Sad. I will, if needed, if you get spotted, it's a 60 foot distance. So I'm gonna not like prepare a spell as if it was around, but I'm going to keep that in my head, thinking if she gets spotted.
Gotcha.
Because I don't want to make her more visible.
I love the idea of Emmy like trying to stealth forward, and all of a sudden, just a big shimmering barrier just appears, and Emmy's like slowly turns down to look at Ori.
Ori's helping.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of that today.
Cool. Do you want a stealth roll from me then?
Please, yes.
That is a 12.
12. Okay.
I don't know that this is a good idea at all.
Disregard Natalie's stealth roll.
I didn't move anywhere. I don't know. I fucking tripped and snapped my ankle or something. Which honestly sounds like me, but
yeah, so Eminence, you start walking forward to the break in the tunnel that would give you line of sight in the cavern beyond. As you approach, you hear just the sound of like leather squeaking, and you stop and look back, and Natalie, you stop, realizing that your armor is just kind of ever so subtly squeaking a little bit.
My non-existent armor, because I'm a barbarian, but my leather's like...
You're wearing leathers. I thought you were wearing Oh no.
No, I don't have armor. I get unarmored defense.
I know you don't have armor. Yeah.
It's
But, like,
aesthetic leather.
Yeah, like leather breeches,
yeah.
But I've got that new leather breech feeling when it's like.
that. You gotta break in your breeches.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, some weird freak occurrence about dimensional travel has made your leather pants new. The voices kind of stop for a moment. And then, Emmy, you can hear a little bit of hush whispering.
I'm frozen in place, so I am one with the darkness.
You are. You are invisible.
I'll keep listening.
It's quiet. All of a sudden you hear, and then immediately, as the two of them continue talking and apparently arguing, now only about 10 feet away or so. Apparently, they were trying to sneak back up the tunnel from what you can hear, and that did not last very long. But they're about 10 feet away from you, just out of line of sight.
Oh, so I can tell that they are moving towards us. They're coming back up the
Yes,
tunnel?
judging
Okay.
by the sound of the voices. But you're invisible.
Okay. I am invisible, but from where I am currently, because I was trying to establish a line of sight and then we stopped, can I gesture to the rest of the party to move, like, retreat without them seeing me?
Yeah, you're invisible.
Yes, but if
Which
I
means the
move, I cease to be invisible.
Yes, and then it'll take a few seconds for you to go invisible again.
Yeah.
You depending on how quickly the voices are approaching, it's going to be close. It's probably going to be about a 50-50 whether or not you'll be invisible in time again.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'll gesture to the rest of the party to, like, fall back and then
Yeah,
stop moving
rest
and
of
become
you-
invisible again.
The
Yeah.
rest of you see that? What do you do?
Yeah, follow orders. I think I will stay like where I am so that it's like Eminence, me, Aery, Oriana. But
Yeah. Yeah, you turn around and start heading back. And do you make any attempt to be silent?
for sure. I would
Okay,
imagine,
yeah.
right?
Let's
Look
get
at it,
some
everyone.
stealth checks again from everyone now.
Because, like, ultimately our option is either meet them head on or try to stealth, so... Nice
I
I got a natural
work!
20.
I got
Yeah.
an 8!
Nice.
Minus
Fucking-
plus nothing. It's straight.
What?
Wait, so
Yeah.
we're all leaving now? They're not just coming back to meet us?
Just backing up. So
Okay,
the
okay.
three of you are backing up, and Emmy is staying at point, but she's invisible.
Wait, I'm backing up. Shit, that does mean I have to roll and I disadvantage.
Can you
Well-
beat Can you beat Nate?
No. I got a nothing. I got nothing. I got a 0. I rolled a nat 1 and I have a -1, which is why I was like, do I have to move?
Clank, clank, clank. The plate armor echoes down as you like back away, but on the upside, it is incredibly obvious to anyone who is listening that you are backing away. And after a few moments, Emmy, you fizzle back into invisibility. And very slowly, you see a small hand kind of creep up to the side of the wall, and a face slowly begins to peek out. What looks like a humanoid fish. Bulging eyes on the side of the head, this sort of large, sort of conical mouth in the front. You can see like a ribbed fin across the top of the head as it pins out, like the eyes kind of just looking wildly as it slowly creeps around the corner. And then on the head of the other one, another hand appears, and the second one creeps around the head of the first one
Are they
peeking. As the two of them,
Scooby-Dooing us right now with the
they're
corner? Just
Scooby-Dooing
like,
down the hallway. Yeah.
oh, I love that.
They see the rest of you like backing up, and Emmy, you're probably about 5 or so feet away from these, and you have a clear picture of them. They're only about 3.5 feet tall, wearing sort of like these sort of rough cloth leather clothing. You can see they have these sort of small barbed harpoons, webbed hands, webbed feet, in this sort of triangular shape, and they kind of peer up the hallway, seeing the rest of you disappear, and then slowly the two of them quickly dip back into cover, and then because you're right there, you hear them kind of whispering to each other in their weird alien language.
This be a grung. Would Emmy know what a grung is? They're frog people, aren't they?
Grung are frog people, yes.
Err.
Roll me a history check, actually. History, nature, or wait, survival? What is this, nature?
I'll
All
Science and animal.
intelligence-based pain.
History or nature are the same, so let's just go
Yeah.
with that. 10.
10 is enough. You don't know much about them, but you know that these are a race of beings called Quotua. Quota. Wow, I realize now that I've never actually said this name out loud. I've read it in books so many times. I'm going to figure out how to pronounce this real quick.
Would it be like a
Kuotoa.
Kuotoa?
Yeah. Quotoa.
Fish people.
Quotoa. Yes. You ever read a word like 100 times and you're like, I know exactly how to pronounce this, and then you say it aloud for the first time and you're like, what the fuck?
That was my problem with hyperbole, and everyone made fun of me, and I'm like, I've literally never said that word aloud. I am 6. Leave me alone. Like,
Yeah.
Hyperbole. Yeah. It's the Super Bowl's bigger.
yeah, imagine
Hyperbole.
paying out a 6-year-old for not knowing how to say hyperbole.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
fucked.
know, right?
Imagine assuming a 6-year-old knows how to say hyperbole.
yeah.
Imagine a 6-year-old knows what hyperbole is.
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know that I
that's
knew what it was.
odd.
I think I just read it. But
Your
Mine
reading
wasn't
age is
that-
obviously way too high already. Like, give us a break.
Mine wasn't that big, but I remember getting made fun of because I said omnious instead of ominous. And I'm like, bitch, I am a child. That's a big word for a child.
Also
I could
just-
have just said, like, scary.
yeah.
Like, shh.
I definitely used to say virgin instead of version all the time as a kid. I just get it mixed up.
As an actual adult, I one time said treasure instead of trebuchet. And that's not
Yeah.
even how it's spelled. But I said treasure.
Oh, man.
I'm pretty sure I used to think it was trebuchet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, for
shit.
sure. For sure. Reading
Why
it being
wouldn't
like,
you
that
be?
makes
Oh
sense,
my
right?
God. I think my glory moment was when I was in the 2nd grade. I moved to a new school and very, very large Christian presence in Texas. Surprise. And they were like, oh, what religion are you? And I was like, German. I didn't know
Good job.
what that meant. Anyways, there are these two Kuo-toa on the other side of the wall, and you can hear them kind of whispering to each other, thinking that whatever people were coming down this chamber are turning around and leaving.
Hey, look, they don't want to
They
mess with
are.
us. We don't want to mess with them.
Yeah.
We call this failing up.
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything. I'm gonna let them walk past me. I'll eavesdrop, even though I don't know their language. I guess I'll try to pick
So
up on
they
anything I
aren't
can.
following. They Scooby-Dooed around the corner to see what was going on,
Okay.
and then they went back out of sight, and they're descending back down the cavern.
Okay.
Did they give us the vibe that they were like angry that we were there, or were they just like, oh, yo, little people?
They were obviously very skittish.
Okay.
They didn't seem comfortable or relaxed.
Possibly a little
What?
chaotic, but maybe we go in and try to communicate with them? Obviously not literally, but
What were they wearing and were they carrying anything?
So they were wearing sort of like these rough, like scale, not very high quality, like goblin level quality armor, uh, with these small barbed harpoons.
Type harpoons.
Yeah.
So, in somewhat prepared for hostility.
Yes.
Okay, that's not a good sign. Or it's kind of a good sign because they're instigating something. We're trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. I guess I head up to where the rest of the party retreated to let them know that they've gone back down and tell them what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish people. Fish people in a fish armor. With harpoons, which is ironic.
Maybe they're stuck here too?
I'll be right back again.
Oh, sure.
I feel like there would
Well,
be...
the did now.
Yeah, yeah, time to speculate. But surely, if they were stuck here too... I mean, being in armor is like, you don't just... I guess we just wandered into this town in armor.
Yep.
I don't think armor is that unreasonable
Oriana's
to
in
be
armor.
wearing, right?
Yeah.
It could be very
They
likely that they're stuck here too.
And they get all kinds of tourists here.
Maybe they just happened to walk into the place at midnight and they ended up here.
Maybe. They seemed sus though, like they were arguing with each other, and they clearly didn't want to be overheard because they
Maybe
were
they're
like,
siblings.
whispering and. Touche. Yeah, how sus? Two people in armor arguing. They must be up to no good. To be fair, we usually are.
Yeah.
Like, well, when you say we're up to no good, it doesn't necessarily mean though that we're up to like bad. We're just up to neutral.
There's a
Just
spectrum.
doing
You
neutral
could
stuff.
say we are chaotic neutral.
Oh, I just had a thought. I was gonna say if we went in to talk to them, do you think I'd be able to use animal handling? But then I was like, what really is
Oh,
the difference between?
condescending.
No, but that's what I was like. So like, technically, we're all considered creatures, right? Realistically, in a social situation, I should be able to use animal handling. on
So
just about
technically,
anyone.
I can cast a hold person on a horse if I feel like the horse, like I communicate with it on
If
a
you
like
think of
personal
the
level.
horse as a person,
I think of
Yeah.
I think of like my dog as a little person. Therefore,
But I thought the whole person applies to creatures.
But does it matter if you think of it as a person or it thinks of itself as a person? Like, if the horse
Well,
has
who doesn't think of
self-awareness,
themselves
can
as
you
a
cast
person?
hold person? A horse,
I think
maybe.
it has to be a humanoid, so it probably wouldn't work for a
Oh.
horse, but would it work on a centaur?
But also,
Yeah.
when you say
Because
humanoid, like,
depending on the angle that you look at them, they look like a human.
How much
Exactly, and
percentage of
also-
horse do they need to be?
what do you consider humanoid? Because from our perspective, humanoid looks like one thing, but from like a mold spore's perspective, humanoid is anything mammalian. Like,
Mhm. And like I feel, I don't know why we're having this discussion
'Cause
right
I
now
had the
specifically,
first thought.
but I feel like a centaur could be considered humanoid because it's like human down to about the waist, and then it's got horse legs. It just
so
has
the spell
four.
only works
It
on
has
top.
four. No, it has four horse legs. And tieflings, some of them, I don't, some of them have hooves, and horses have hooves. Therefore, and they're still humanoid. Watch me
So it's
break
like
this
a
down
game
on
of,
you,
like-
Burrows, at some point in time with all of my bard charm spells that only apply to humanoids.
It's
Hey,
like
look,
6
we have
degrees
had
of
this
Kevin Bacon,
conversation
except
before.
It's like,
logical reasoning.
I believe there needs to be a capacity for sentience to be
are you
considered.
saying
a human.
centaurs aren't sentient?
Are you saying horses aren't sentient?
Yeah, if you want to be a horse, you be a horse. But can horses talk?
Horses are sentient, they're not sapient.
I don't know now. I'm confused.
So, anyways,
Fish people in a cave.
it
But how
has
fish are they?
also we have been going for 3 hours. I really like how we're going. If we want, we can keep going for longer. What do we take like a 5-minute break and go for longer, or we can call it for here because this is also like a good stopping point.
If this is a good stopping point, we can.
There,
Yeah.
I need to have dinner soon.
I don't want to overcommit our time.
We
Just
did
in
just go on
case,
a rant
yeah,
about
we don't come to a new
Yeah.
good stopping point within the next 7 hours.
Yeah.
Because there are many stopping points. I listen. Remember all of that cautious, concerned writing about like, oh god, over the past few weeks, and then you guys spent 2 months not getting to it.
I mean, this does give you plenty of time to go through your
Yes.
notes knowing our approach. So, like, works out for
You
the best.
still have gone completely off book
Oh, yeah, it's just how we work.
immediately.
You give us a plan and
Would
we're
you
like,
expect
nah.
any less?
Yeah. Okay, well then, as the party regroups at the mouth of the tunnel leading to the Spore Walls, having just witnessed 2 Kuo Toa at the interior, as the sun begins to dip lower towards the horizon and it reddens in hues, we will go ahead and call this session here until next time as the party investigates more of this mystery. They found all of the missing people. They've just lost everything else.
We knew that.
So-
It's fine.
If we had more time, I would love to go see if there's anybody else in literally the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah.
I
Go
But
for
we're
like
gonna
an
lose our
adventure.
minds.
Yeah. We start running outside of the city and then we suddenly get like springboarded back into the bloody thing.
Ah. We should try that before we leave, just for funsies.
Yeah,
Figure out
that's
the
a good
puzzle and then
idea.
Just for shits and gigs. Awesome. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. It has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we it seems like y'all had fun as well. My name is D. I have been the Dungeon Master. We'll go ahead and do some quick rounds on everybody else, and then we will. Gosh, I was gonna say something totally that means something completely different in Australian that Raz once said on air. And then we're going
Say
to
it.
toss off for the night.
I remember that.
Yeah. No, we're going to head out for the night, and we'll pick up the session next time. But we'll go ahead and talk about who we are and where you can find more about us. Oriana, we'll do things
We're
upside
going
down.
backwards again. Hi, I am Mel or Maleficent. I play Oriana. I am a streamer and a cosplayer, and you can find me all over the internet. I am like a virus. I'm just everywhere. Doing various stuff. I'm doing horror games and Far Cry 6 for Halloween, all October.
That's awesome. Happy October. Happy Spooktober, everybody. Emmy.
October.
Thanks, guys. I have been Nicole. I played Eminence. I don't do other things on the internet, but I very much enjoy being here. So I will see you next time we play.
Yes, Aery. Once again, going skewed order.
Hello, I was less unprepared this time. Yes, I'm Dreamy Your Cat. I play Aery. Once again, I'm not doing a whole lot on the internet at the moment, but you can see my art all over the place on this channel, etc. So, yeah.
Awesome, yay. And Natalie.
Hi, I exist on the internet. I am Natalie, who doesn't have a tiny bit of magic in their system and pretends to not know things. Wait, no, pretends to know things and doesn't actually know anything. I have Kickstarter, look it up. That's the one thing that I ask of you. I ask of nothing else except for look up the Kickstarter. Do it. I've got like 8 days left. Do it.
Where's your? I'm
I
on
want you to hit
your.
the extra
How,
stretch goals. They look so amazing.
Yes.
is it on your? No. How do I get to it? You don't have it linked on your linky thing.
I'm finding the link. I'm finding the link.
Just put it in
It
chat. I
is.
just put it in chat. It's in chat. It's in chat. I will also put it in our chat for UD.
Okay, thank you.
But we do have somewhere to go. Sign off as well.
Yes, yeah. My name is D. I'm the Dungeon Master. I play Dungeons and Dragons with these lovely folks. We roll dice and do silly voices and theorize about how best to confuse you lovely viewers. Yeah, if you're looking for more things that I do, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook, I have a YouTube, all that stuff. Yeah, link in the doobly doo. Awesome. That's it. That's all. I'm making music eventually. Someday I will finish a song and it will sound awesome. Probably.
I'm sure
No,
it
it
will.
will. We've heard unfinished songs and they sound awesome. So
Are we all prepared and squared away?
We sure are. We're going to go see some peeps who are playing. I think they're playing. It says live D&D commentary, but it looks like they're a VTuber themselves. And they have like this really cool setup. You'll just have to come with us and see. But it is someone that we haven't seen live on a Sunday before, which is always very exciting when we find new people that are live on Sunday. That being Sunday for Australia and like early morning Sunday for like everyone else. And possibly still Saturday for some people too. I don't know. Time zones are weird.
Ishi kind of sounds like fishy.
Yeah.
And we just met some fishies.
We sure did. 10 dudes. Can you go over with the raid?
Big dudes.
They can be our dudes or any other dudes with a magical instrument.
Yay.
Sign us off with
Awesome.
a song, D, or
Great.
a chord. I don't know.
Nope. That's what we get.
Appreciate your faces.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Soon.
Bye.